Okay, got it.
Okay, I think we will now start. So, good evening. I welcome you all to this second session on inter-community Kath being organized by Kashmir Policy and Strategy Group. We had a Kath on 21st June, which was attended by several eminent personalities. That interaction was highly successful, with a lot of positive ideas coming forth, garnered a lot of appreciation from multiple quarters, and the encouraging response actually prompted us to continue the drive. And we're now following up with a sequel to our earlier session. So today, again, we're here again to talk about our precarious situation and hope for ending the 3-decade-old era of madness. The failure of administrative machinery has created a need for the civil society to raise a unified voice towards condemnation of innocent killings and the mayhem that is spread. So we have patrons from both communities who need to step up and create an atmosphere and aura of mutual trust and harmony. It is in this context that we have called all of you to come out and express your thoughts. Given the history of our previous session, I'm sure we'll have a lot of interaction, we'll have a lot of positivity coming out of today's session.
No voice coming from your side.
Okay. So,
and your image is static.
So am I audible now? Am I audible?
But Pandit Sahab, he is audible to me. I think maybe some connection
audible.
there.
Yes, sir.
He is audible and the picture is also clear.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with the network.
Maybe Pandit Sahab, you need to check your connections.
I will.
So one of the ground rules that we will follow is I would request everybody to be on mute and unmute only if you are speaking. That will erase out a lot of static. And another thing, we are recording this session. I will be putting up the recording of this session on YouTube later. I'll share the link with everybody. With that, I invite our chairman, Shri Ashok Ban, to put forth his opening comments. So, Ban Sahab, would you please let us know your opening comments?
Yes, good evening, friends. I was very profusely encouraged last time because of the intervention of friends, and friends all across said that there was a near consensus on a theme and on a doctrine of mutual coexistence and mutual trust between the various communities in the valley. And that coexistence and mutual trust needs to be taken forward. And there is a lot of political response also when it came into the media, and many politicians also called me up and sent the messages that we also wish to get on board. But as was decided earlier that we have to keep politics away for some time. And I have requested Mr. Vatal to take it forward and get newer participants in this program so that we scope of our Kath and our doctrine of Kath forward and take it to various quarters, and we wish to expand it beyond the limits of city of Srinagar also in next couple of webinars. And then after we finish that exercise, we wish to have a physical interaction and physical Kath in Srinagar itself, where our friends from Srinagar have agreed to host us, or we can mutually host each other and go there and spread the message of peace, love, and affection. It's hardly 30 years. 3 decades is not a very big gap. And 3 decades gulf which has been created by misinformation, by death and destruction, by the mayhem, and other circumstances, both political and socio-cultural devastations in valley that can be bridged, and we are lucky that all of us have assembled together, and we'll put our heads together, we'll put our efforts together so that we bring back the lost glory of Kashmir's pristine Kashmiriyat and Kashmiri's glorious past. So I'll rest my intervention here and take it forward and request Mr. Vatal to call on this theme, which is doctrine of Kath and the doctrine of mutual existence and also of trust. We carry it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhan Sahab. That's so nice of you, very encouraging words. So I would like to start with Pandit Sahab, Mohammad Shafiq Pandit Sahab. So Pandit Sahab, can we have your thoughts, please? Pandit Sahab, you will need to unmute.
No, what I was saying was you don't necessarily have to start with me because I requested for an early, opportunity to speak. That you'll have to suffer me till about 7:15. I will still be with you, but let me now that you have called upon me to speak.
Right.
I would like to say, first of all, again, congratulations to the group and headed by Mr. Ashok Bhan for taking this initiative, which is a good one. But all initiatives are as good as they are implemented. So in this case also, if some good positive action follows, then it will be a good initiative and hailed as a good initiative in the future. At the moment, we are self-congratulating ourselves. Well, I think we need to take some solid action in the sense that we must create immediate opportunities of meeting between the communities, whether it's in Jammu or Srinagar or wherever. I think it's time. Last time, this Kheer Bhavani Mela, if you guys had come around that time, I think we should have had a good gathering at that place. But anyway, any next opportunity, I think it'll be a good idea to arrange some kind of a meeting between the communities at that point of time, whether it's connected with Muslim festival or Hindu festival, that is immaterial. But there must be some opportunities. Number one. The second point I want to make is with regard to the people who are from the minority community who are staying back in Kashmir. I think their problems have not been fully appreciated or addressed. So I would say that their problems must be heard and they must be addressed. The people who have suffered bullets, people who have suffered threats, people who have suffered all the fear and funk that was prevalent. I don't think they're getting anything. They don't have a share of the jobs. They don't have a share of other things. So they are deprived of all those benefits. And they have been representing from time to time. I don't know why they have been excluded from this kind of a benefit. If you really want to encourage people to stay in this, this goes back to every political party across the spectrum. It's not one party. All of them have excluded the local Kashmiri Pandits who have stayed put in Kashmir. So this is the second point I want. I'll make some interventions later on when I hear others, but I had to make these 2 points. At first, the third point. Third point is I had made a suggestion last time about setting up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Yeah, but I just want to clarify that it need not necessarily be a government commission. It can be a people's commission. It can be a commission set up by the two communities or multiple communities. I think that at least should have found mention, but I don't think it even found mention in the press note that you had released. So just you give your final views on this, and if you are in agreement, then fine. Otherwise, take it off the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pandit sir. Um, that's so nice. And I think a truth and reconciliation commission by people of the people is definitely a very positive idea.
Much better off.
Government,
Yes,
but people
because
it makes sense. And our effort actually is an initial baby step towards that. I think that is where we should be looking at. So
perfectly all right. But I'm saying that it should be seriously considered. Yes. That's what I think. Because this is one way of addressing the grievances and removing lots of fog.
Right. Thank you, sir. I would want to move over to Professor Ashok Ogra sir. Ogra sir, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everybody. I think it's a laudable initiative with Baath Saab's clarity that he brings and the passion that he brings to the table. And as I said in the last meeting, I think we need to deepen it. And perhaps, I'm reminded of Henry Kissinger's very famous quote, in which he said that in cataloging the desirable, we should not jeopardize the attainable. So there are things which are desirable, but cannot be immediately achieved. Therefore, focus on something which is attainable. And in this, I think we need to create some pressure groups within the valley. And in that, you would have the student social influencers. We need to tap them and meet them. We need to meet the teachers in local schools, primary schools, and so on and so forth. In addition to, of course, the kind of people that we are interacting or we know. Because at the end of the day, that the kind of people that we interact in this group or a larger group, we have similar views, we have similar approaches, minor difference here and there. But I think the need is to go to people with whom we have not got any interaction, but who play an important role in the society. And so therefore, student community, I would say even the Molvis who hold prayers in the mosque and so on and so forth, and meet them and do it. Now, with regard to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that Pandits have mentioned, and I referred it to in last intervention also, it's a laudable objective. Except that I would distinguish, I will split it into two. I will focus on Reconciliation Commission and perhaps then lead on to the Truth Commission, whether it's People's Commission, Government Commission, impartial, that's the second part. But I think we need to begin with focusing on reconciliation because truth is a very contested idea in the post-modern world. But it is desirable, as I said. But I will go for something which is attainable, and that is reconciliation, and deepen that through student groups, through teachers, through Molvis, and so on and so forth.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ogra sir. I think, would you want to continue, Ogra sir?
No, that's all right. That's all fine. I'll intervene as we go along.
Right. Thank you, sir. I think it's a very important point that we need to, and that's a grassroots connect when we start including the academic fraternity, the student community, the teachers, and others. Obviously, that's.
And I'm talking of primary teachers. I'm talking of school teachers in primary school. You see, with university teachers and all that, we do interact.
Right.
But we need to go slightly at the second level, second rank of the society. And this has to be in Pulwama, in Shupian, in Srinagar, and all the places.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. With that, I would want to move over to Shri Ashok Amma. We have Shri Ashok Amma with us. So, Amma Sahab, we would want to know your thoughts, please.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be part of today's discussion on to bring about kind of a reconciliation. I think it's a very good effort, laudable effort. But while we speak on this, I think it's very important to see that against the backdrop of nearly 3 decades of turmoil, which has affected everyone. Maybe degrees are different, but everyone has suffered into it. It's not that X or Y community has suffered. I think everyone has suffered. Therefore, I think, and Shafi Saab knows, Ogra Saab knows that I have been traveling all the time to the valley, even those tough times. I think what's 2 or 3 points which need to be brought about is that we need to work on bringing, which is being talked about also earlier, is to how do we bring about the community engagement into it. That's very important because I don't see that we can work on some kind of a isolated rationality onto this. The point is that if we want to bring about some kind of a convergence to a situation where we need to, where the people think that they can still have a chance to go back to the valley. And also that I think in that sense, we need to have a kind of a organized public response to the situations which impact everybody's life. Till now, let's be honest on each other. There are a couple of fault lines which I would like to talk about. You see, when you go to the valley, there are some incidents which are barbaric, which are unfortunate. Everybody says, ye gao galat, ye gao galat. But it stops there, nothing beyond that. I think what is required is an engagement, what Ograsa was also referring to, in the school level, college level, university level, what kind of engagements which can be talked about. And I think there are favorable responses to that as well. Otherwise, you know what happens is sometimes there is some kind of a intellectual sanctity which is provided to the situations which necessarily do not augur well for anybody. You may have Truth and Reconciliation Commission, but that's not, I think, that might be a starting point to look into what happened. But I think what's more required is that what can be done now after 3 decades. That requires a very focused understanding of the ground situation. We can't, either way romanticize the situation. No, I don't think, because I keep on going and interacting with everyone. Ograsa was there last week in Kashmiri University. He would have interacted with a lot of people. I keep on going with a lot of people. Personally, everything is hunky-dory. We eat, we crack jokes, we eat well, we eat together even. Everything happens. But when it comes to the question of bringing communities together, I think that is a different argument. In that, I think there needs to be a kind of an engagement which is broad-based, which goes across the situations. And we can't dispel away a situation, the kind of influences which have occurred during past 3 decades in there. Radicalization is there, even everybody knows what are the reasons that's different. But on the face of it, what's insecurity is there, and insecurity is for everyone. It's not only for X community, Y community. I think every insecurity is for everyone. And how can you overcome a sense of insecurity which cuts across the name, the culture, the region? I think that's a huge challenge which as of now we need to have. How do you overcome the sense? And therefore, once sense of insecurity is kind of negotiated, then possibly a trust argument can come through. It's not only that we can work on it on a kind of a cosmetic understanding. I think the things needs to be thought in a way which brings the partnership, I think stakeholdership of everyone into it. I think let's forget that the government can do it. I think no government can do it. It is the people to people, collective effort which has to be thought of. How can we network on that argument? I do think the government can do it alone. No, I don't think so. That can only bring about some kind of interventions. But if you have to sustain an engagement which brings about the kind of an chances of looking back, can the people go back to the valley again? I think we'll have to focus on the kind of architecture which is pragmatic, which is based on the truth, not on the emotions. Kaz ke şu wana Hasan Sarbajan wana jahalat jazbatiyat sma varya kam fark. So a lot of things happen on the basis of the emotions rather than on the given prevailing situations, which needs to be factored into it. Two things are which I think are very important in Kashmir scenario. One is the sense of insecurity, in which that insecurity does not necessarily mean the government. From government, there are that sense of insecurity is perpetuated by vested interests. It's kind of an industry which generates that kind of an what we call the returns on the actions which brings about them some kind of this. I think insecurity and trust building has to be the prime focus before you take a step forward or anything. Thank you. I can intervene later. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed sir. That's very, very detailed, very neat. So moving on, I would now request Dr. Qazi Ashraf Saab is with us. So I will request Dr. Qazi Ashraf Saab to put forth some of his thoughts. Dr. Saab?
I'm honored to speak on this August gathering. Actually, I was basically today I was thinking that I would just
recording in progress.
today I started the meeting with this thought that I'll be a listener rather than a speaker. But then
Dr. Saab, your voice is not very clear. Dr. Saab, your voice is
my
not
voice
clear.
is not clear.
It's not clear.
Okay, we'll do one thing. Yes, there must be
no.
some problem with the internet. Let me do one thing. Let me just listen to others.
Dr. Qazi Ashraf.
And maybe afterwards I will speak a few words.
What happened to this?
And
Please, am I audible?
So if he puts his mic nearer his mouth, I think he is audible. Put your
Dr. Saab,
mic.
you will have to keep the mic
All
nearer
right.
to your mouth.
Yeah, this is audible.
I'll try to I'll do one thing. I'll rectify it. So, but till that time, another speaker can just take one. So once I get, then I can take this one.
I think your volume is low. You're perfectly all right. Your volume is low. That's all.
Volume. So
Yes,
will
we have to
No,
increase your
I
volume.
think it's your headphone.
You can call.
I think it's your headphones. You may actually have to take out your headsets and talk through your device.
That's right.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Vatal,
Yes.
could I please request Dr. Qazi Ashraf to introduce himself, because I'm here seeing him for the first time. I don't know whether last time he was there.
No. Dr. Saab, you
I
will
might have missed him.
introduce yourself, but take off the
Okay.
headphones, talk directly into the device.
Okay. Let me try like that. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit better now.
I think. What I'm saying is that I will rectify the thing till the time some other speaker can take it.
Okay, we'll fine.
By the time I'm done, I'll just return.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Saab, we'll just park you for a little while. I will move over to Janab Javed Beg Saab. Javed Beg ji, are you there? Mr. Javed Beg?
Adab.
Adab Javed Saab. Javed Saab?
Am I audible?
Bilkul,
Is the
bilkul.
connection better now?
Bilkul.
Very much.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sunil Saab and Ashok Ban Saab, for bringing me on your beautiful platform. Or rather, I call it narrative for Kashmir, Kath-Baath. Well, my voice, might be little.
Okay.
Because I'm sitting outside. I was in a meeting, so I'm sitting in a park in Srinagar. Well, ये बहुत ही उम्दा और खूबसूरत इनिशिएटिव آپ لوگوں نے لیا ہے جس کی کافی پہلے ضرورت تھی. کتھ بات جو ہماری ایک پرمپرا ہے, ہمارے کلچر کا ایک حصہ ہے. میں جب چھوٹا تھا تو گاؤں میں ہم پینڈ دیکھتے تھے جسے تھک پینڈ کہتے تھے.
وان پینڈ
مجھے پورا یاد ہے. بالکل بالکل. میں جس علاقے سے ہوں, جس گاؤں میں ہوں, وہاں لٹریچر پہ بڑی باتیں ہوتی ہے, اور وہاں اس تھک پینڈ پہ, وان پینڈ پہ جیو پالیٹکس اس زمانے میں ہوتی تھی. اس زمانے میں بشر یہ جو اسد سینئر ہے یا پھر صدام حسین ہے, ان کے بارے میں باتیں ہوتی تھی. وی پی سنگھ صاحب کے بارے میں باتیں ہوتی تھی, نرسمہ راؤ صاحب کے بارے میں باتیں ہوتی تھی. تو بہرحال کہنے کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ وہاں بہت پازیٹیو اور کچھ نیگیٹو باتیں ہوتی تھی, جس سے بہت سارے مسئلوں پہ, مسائلوں پہ
بان
ایک
صاحب کرے کنیکٹ جاوید صاحب.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Sir, Javed Saab is disconnected now. I don't know what's the reason.
But
No,
my
he's
connection is
connected,
very
he's
strong.
connected.
My connection is very strong.
Yes, it is connected, yes.
Okay, you go ahead, please.
Go ahead, please.
Please allow Javed Kakru to enter.
Vatal sir, allow Javed Kapur sahab also.
I'm admitting him. Fine.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
Javed
Go
Beg
ahead.
sahab, you can continue, please.
continue.
وہ ان جنہیں ہم تھک پینڈ, وان پینڈ کہتے تھے, وہ بڑے پلیٹ فارم ہوتے تھے. ہم نے بیسک سیاست وہی سے سیکھی ہے کہ پورے دنیا میں بالخصوص برے صغیر میں کیا ہوتا تھا. ان دنوں ریڈیو کو لوگ ریلیجسلی فالو کرتے تھے. آج بھی ریڈیو خیر ابھی بھی بہت چلتا ہے. تو ہمیں پتا چلتا تھا اپنے بزرگوں سے کہ پڑوسی ملک میں کیا ہو رہا ہے, بنگلہ دیش میں کیا ہو رہا ہے, یا پھر ہمارے ملک میں کیا ہو رہا ہے. بہرحال وہ سارا پلیٹ فارم صرف کتھ بات کا تھا, جو یہ بہت ہی عمدہ اور خوبصورت آئیڈیا آپ میرے استادوں نے جس کی شروعات کی, میں آپ کو تہہ دل سے مبارک.
Go ahead. Much.
Javed sahab, we are losing your voice. Javed Beg sahab, you suddenly go on mute.
ان سارے مسئلے مسائلوں پہ ہم ایک ساتھ بیٹھ کے بات کریں, اور چھوٹے سے چھوٹے مسئلوں جو ہمارے گاؤں میں, ہمارے ٹاؤنز میں, جو ہمارے وارڈز میں ہیں, یا جو بڑے سے بڑے مسائل ہیں جو یہاں جموں کشمیر میں جو اکثر اور بیشتر ہمارے سامنے ایک بہت بڑا چیلنج لے کر آتی ہے, اس پہ ہم کتھ بات کریں. کچھ مسئلے ایسے ہیں جنہیں ہمیں جڑ تک جانے کی ضرورت ہے. کچھ مسئلے آئیڈیالوجیکل مسئلے ہیں جس میں مذہبی آئیڈیالوجی آتی ہے. وہ اگر میں گزارش کروں گا ہمارے جو بزرگ ہے, جو ہمارے استاد ہیں, چونکہ مجھے لگتا ہے میں اس انٹلیکچوئل ڈسکشن میں سب سے کم جو ہے اہمیت رکھتا ہوں. میری ایک گزارش ہے, کچھ مسئلوں پہ ہم نے صدیوں سے بات کی لیکن ہم نے ان سے پردے نہیں اٹھائے. اب مجھے لگتا ہے صحیح وقت آ گیا ہے, ہمیں بہت ساری چیزوں سے پردہ اٹھانا ہے جو ہمارے سوسائٹیز میں ہے, جو ان پریکٹس ہے لیکن ہم بولتے نہیں. بہت سارے مسئلے ایسے ہیں. میں ایک چھوٹی سی مثال یہاں پہ دوں گا جو سوشل مثال ہے, لیکن اس کا سیاست کے ساتھ ایک بہت گہرا تعلق ہے. ہمارے کشمیر میں جو میجورٹی کمیونٹی ہے, میجورٹی کمیونٹی میں کاسٹ ازم اتنا گہرا ہے لیکن اس پہ کوئی بات ہی نہیں کرتا ہے. پریکٹس میں وہ 100% ہے, 100% پریکٹس میں. لوگ کاسٹ سسٹم میں اتنا یقین رکھتے ہیں لیکن بولنے میں وہ کہتے ہیں نہیں, ہم ایک ہی مذہب کے ماننے والے ہیں, بس ہم اس مذہب کی تعلیم پہ چلنے والے ہیں. لیکن حقیقت کچھ اور ہوتی ہے جو ہمارے کشمیر میں سب سے زیادہ ان پریکٹس. ٹھیک اسی طرح سیاست ہے. پچھلے 35 سال کی سیاست پہ اگر ہم نظر رکھیں گے, ہمارے کشمیر میں صرف 2 طبقے ہیں. ایک طبقہ جو ایکسٹریمسٹ اینڈ پہ جا کر کسی بھی چیز کو एक्सेप्ट नहीं करता है। दूसरा तबका जो सिस्टम में आकर, मेन स्ट्रीम में आकर एजेंडा उनका सर्व करता है, लेकिन यहाँ पे बहरूपिया बनकर अपने जो उनका प्रोटोकॉल है उसमें एंजॉय करते रहते हैं, जिसकी वजह से मेरी जनरेशन के नौजवान जो सियासत को एक बहुत ही मुतबरक और मुकद्दस इदारा समझते हैं, मानते हैं, हम मेरे जनरेशन के जो नौजवान हैं जो सियासत को अपने जिंदगी का मकसद बनाना चाहते हैं ताकि वो इंसानियत की, इंसानों की खिदमत करे और अपने मौज गशीर की खिदमत करे, लेकिन हम कंफ्यूजन के शिकार हो जाते हैं। 32-33 साल से जिन मसले मसाइलों पे हम बात करना चाहते थे, जिन चीजों से हम पर्दा उठाना चाहते थे, हमें सिखाया गया और हमें बताया गया कि उनसे पर्दा ना उठाए, चीजों को पर्दे में ही रहने दे, जिससे आज की डेट में हमारी सोसाइटी क्रम्बल हो गई। आज के डेट में सियासत के इस खूबसूरत मुकद्दस और मुतबरक इदारे पे लोग भरोसा नहीं कर रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से मुल्क के सबसे बड़े मुकद्दस इदारे जिसे हम डेमोक्रेसी कहते हैं उस पर से भरोसा उठ गया, नौजवान उस पर यकीन नहीं कर पाते। आज मुझे लगता है, मैं गुजारिश करूंगा इस अगस्त गैदरिंग से, इस इंटेलेक्चुअल प्लेटफॉर्म से, कि मेहरबानी करके खुदारा इन चीजों से पर्दा उठाएं। वे फॉरवर्ड क्या है उस पे आप बिल्कुल बात करते हैं और हम समझते भी है, लेकिन बहुत सारी चीजों से पर्दा उठाने की जरूरत है। जैसे मैंने सोशल इशू में एक छोटी सी मिसाल दी, यहाँ जो मौलाना साहब मस्जिद में इक्वालिटी की बात करेंगे, लेकिन खुद वो अपने घर के लिए, अपने बेटे बेटी के लिए रिश्ता अपने ही जात पात में ढूंढेंगे, तो कहाँ का वो उनका वाज, कहाँ का वाज हुआ। जो यहाँ कश्मीर में जो एक गैप बनाई गई लोअर कास्ट के लोगों और अपर कास्ट के लोगों में, लोअर कास्ट के लोगों को शादी करना आज के डेट में बहुत महाल है, उस पर तो आप बात ही नहीं करते। आप देखिए, मेरे साथ आइए, मैं एक एनजीओ के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूँ जिसमें सिर्फ श्रीनगर में 40 से 45 साल की जो हमारी बेटियां, हमारी बहनें हैं जिन्होंने मैरिजेबल एज क्रॉस की है और उनकी शादियां नहीं हो पा रही। बहुत सारे जो बच्चे हमारे हैं जो ड्रग्स में इतने इन्वॉल्व हो गए हैं, अब ड्रग्स से वो नेक्स्ट लेवल टेररिज्म में चले जाते हैं। वजह, मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर फ्रॉम लोअर कास्ट फैमिलीज। इसी तरह जो सियासत में इन्होंने एक इक्वेशन बना के रखी है, उस इक्वेशन में भी आप मुझे बताइए कि उस तबके के जो लोअर कास्ट के जो लोग हैं, उस तबके के लोगों के बारे में कोई बात ही नहीं करता है, बल्कि कुछ तबकों को तो यहाँ पे अनटचेबल माना जाता है जो इन प्रैक्टिस है, लेकिन उस पर कोई बात ही नहीं करेगा। अब जब हम हमारे इंटेलेक्चुअल तबके को, जो हमारे कश्मीर का सो कॉल्ड इंटेलेक्चुअल तबका है, मैं डायस्पोरा की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, जो खुद को इंटेलेक्चुअल समझते हैं, वो इस पे बात करना ऐसे उन्हें फील होता है कि शायद किसी चीज से पर्दा उठाना है। तो मेरे हिसाब से कुछ चीजों से पर्दा उठाने की जरूरत है। कुछ आइडियोलॉजीज बड़े सगीर में, बिलखुसूस पार वाले देश में, जिसके जरिए हमारे कश्मीर में कोशिश की जा रही है कि यहाँ पे आईसिस का माहौल बनाया जाए, तालिबानाइजेशन ऑफ कश्मीर एक प्रोसेस चल रही है, उस पर कोई बात ही नहीं कर रहा है कि वो आइडियोलॉजी है क्या। वो आइडियोलॉजी तो अपने ही मजहब के दूसरे तबकों को, दूसरे सेक्ट्स को अपने बराबर नहीं मानते हैं। प्यूरिटन इस्लाम का जो मैं कह रहा हूं, उसमें कोई बात ही नहीं करता है। अगर हम यहाँ पे एक या दो पेज पढ़ने के लिए आए,
I believe Javed Saab, I believe you should come to the topic.
Topic, yes.
I'm sorry to say that you're deviating from the topic. Come to the topic, please.
Sir, I will come to the topic, but this is very important to mention here. Where else will I be able
But
to?
he's right. Beg Saab, I appreciate what you said, but I have certain reservations. What you are analyzing, basically, question is that, sorry, if I am given time, then I will talk.
Okay.
Otherwise, you please
So
continue.
Okay.
Sir,
I think we need to keep it brief. So can you please continue?
1 minute. 1 minute.
To the topic.
1 minute. जैसे स्टार्ट में अशोक बान साहब ने कहा था कि ये जो कथबात का एक नैरेटिव है, ये हम सिर्फ वर्चुअली महदूद नहीं रखेंगे, बल्कि इससे हम फिजिकली भी होल्ड करेंगे। मैं गुजारिश करूंगा उसमें आप
Mr. Javed, we are here to find the ways of bridging the gap between the two distant communities. We
Sir,
are not here.
I am coming to that very.
Please listen to me. We are not here. We are not here to turn the clock back here. We are not here to just listen about the past. We are here to find a solution about what we can do and how it should be done. So please,
That's
please
where I'm
speak
actually
about
heading, sir.
that.
Unless and until you don't understand these social issues.
It's not the question of everybody
Be able to
understands
bridge the
that.
gap.
Everybody understands that, Mr. Javed. Everybody understands that. This is the question of finding a solution where the two distant communities can bridge the gap and come together. If we are here to about talking about and digging the past, then we are not going to achieve anything. So please come to the topic and be specific to the topic.
I am coming to the topic. जो हमने recently killings देखी, did you find people belonging to majority community coming on roads, protesting against those?
Of course, statements
No.
were made.
Yes.
Statements were made. What else could they do?
Now it's not only the statements. It's not only
No,
the
not
statements.
statements.
These are
I live in Kashmir.
listen.
I was the
Please,
first who came on road.
Javed Saab, please listen to me.
We have
And
protested for that. We have protested for that. I am as
No,
an elected
nobody protested. Nobody. Few people from one political party. No, nobody.
No, it's
No,
not
no
the,
mass protests were held. So-
please don't indulge the political parties
So
here.
Javed Saab,
we're not talking. I'll just
जावेद
intervene.
साहब खामोशी गुफ्तगू है, बेजुबानी है जुबान मेरी.
Out of this discussion.
यहाँ very unfortunate.
Mr. Wattle, Mr. Wattle,
Yes.
You can
Mr.
give the
Sorry, I'm going to
Mr.
withdraw from
someone
this
else.
Wattle,
group.
can you
Somebody
hear me?
might be sitting in a cozy room in New Delhi and he will start releasing sermons. Okay, I will listen to the sermons. I am okay, sir. I will listen to the sermons. Somebody who is
It's
sitting in a cozy room in New Delhi, in an AC room, I will listen to his sermons.
I
Which
think
I
it's
have been
very
listening to last
unbecoming for you to say
3
this.
decades.
It doesn't suit this entire get
Right.
together. The really
Hello.
the essence of
I-
why we
I-
are here.
I
You're
think,
missing out on the point here,
I
Mr.
think,
Javed.
I think you
You're
have made your point.
unnecessarily
Mr. Wattle,
Yes.
Mr. Wattle, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Right. Mr. Wattle, if, I don't know whether you have got me in the line of the
Yes.
speakers.
I was about to call you next. So I think we need to, I would request everybody that we need to focus on what is the basic attention, what is the basic aim of having this discussion today. And let us try to stick to that topic. Let's not try to deviate. Because if we want, there's lots and lots to talk about. But let us try to talk basically about how do we bring the communities together and what is
Mr. Wattal,
the harmony. Yes.
Mr. Wattal, am I audible and can I have 1 minute?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. So in this connection, I am delighted to see that Mr. Bon has initiated, and I'm just first time joining this group, and I'm delighted to have discussion on very critical issues, which is order of the day. Rather, we need to deliberate upon those issues.
Right.
Out of which I can take a thread from Honorable former Vice Chancellor Professor Aima, which rightly pointed out that we need to understand the discourses that we are taking. We need not to go beyond the past, even past, because we are getting nothing out of it. Any discourse which takes place among the intelligentsia or intelligent communities or the two communities needs a political patronage as well. Because if you don't get any support at top level, because I'm a student of international relations, I understand what are the issues that are lurking in our mind. If state withdraws or state doesn't give, our government for that matter doesn't give patronage, we are not reaching anywhere. I don't think anywhere for last 30 years, there is a problem within the masses. We are about to reconcile. We have helped each other. We have a composite culture. We live in same atmosphere. We love each other. There is no doubt. If somebody says many things have been exercised to see that there is a void between the two communities, but we did not approve that. That's the quite testimony of our history for last 30 years. We have not divulged in that process. And that is clear, understandable to the government, central government as well, because we have a different culture. But the question is that Mr. Ban has initiated a very noble issue, that how we can come closer, and this is the right time that we should strike and come forward to acknowledge one another's contribution towards the state as well. Because state belongs to us, this government is ours, and we need to understand only peace has no alternative, which Gorbachev has said in his speech in Soviet Russia. Because peace is no alternative. You have to have a peace for any development, for any progress, or any flourishing of any culture. Unless we have peace, we cannot reach anywhere. And I don't think the two communities have anywhere contradicted to each other. Yes, there were certain situations where we have not acknowledged one another, but there are variety of reasons to understand it. Not only one reason that we have not come out, because there is scarcely everybody is responsible for that. We have to come stand. If there is solidarity between the two communities, I don't think government is on weak wicket then. They cannot, they have to come on the terms that two are friends to each other and they love each other. They have been together each other. You can see we have no grievances. At mass level, you have never seen. Yes, my brother has raised a point that there was no demonstration. People have not come streets, but you can understand the insecurity or the uncertainty, the instability in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. We should keep that in mind. But persuasion is important. We have to pursue. We have to not give up. We have to strike hard, and day will come that we will reconcile. We will see that something is coming out which is pragmatic and which we would love ultimately, and we would appreciate that. So I on these words, because just I was asked to join, I once again congratulate Mr. Ban for just giving an opportunity, creating a platform where we can discuss. And very revered Professor Shafi Saab is a well-known bureaucrat as well. He has contributed. These are sane voices. They should come forward. We learn at their feet. And if they come, we will contribute together. We can have discourse, because tolerance in a democratic setup, as much as you can tolerate, you can resolve problems. Problems cannot be resolved mathematically. You press the button and there is a solution to a problem. Problem is you evolve a certain thing and you come into it, then you emerge ultimately as successful. So I think persuasion to these discourses, dialogue is important. There is difference of opinion, we should be able to tolerate it. And we should see squarely, not from one side. It is a two-way topic. And we should reciprocate in the same manner. And if we reciprocate positively to one another, there is no doubt that we will reach to a conclusion. Yes, we have succeeded and we can contribute towards the development of our state, which is almost in moment. And we are in disarray position. We are almost a confusion, chaos in everybody's mind. This should immediately, because we have, if you go medical doctors, you talk to them, everybody is suffering mentally because nobody accepts this. Even my son, he says, Papa, don't have any influence to the head teacher. You can ask him, open the schools. So this is the scenario. People want to go out, mingle up with the people, enjoy, relax, and also concentrate on their career as well, which we have lost because of these discourses should be brought to a daylight, and government should come forward to encourage us, and tolerance from every side. State also must exhibit tolerance. It is not one-way traffic that we can have discourses, intellectual thought. What would be the end result? Nothing unless it has a patronage. If we say we are together, it should be appreciated. In diplomacy, we also believe in that. It is two-way traffic. We should love. I think this is a very good initiative that Mr. Ban has started. I love to have it more successful, more wider, in which more people will participate, intellectuals will participate, debate, disagree. In social sciences, we say in mathematics, if result is same, they are happy mathematicians. In social sciences, if you disagree, that's a healthy sign. And we should appreciate that disagreement. Disagreement is not something you are
Thank you,
put down
sir.
or you have developed.
You have, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Professor
sir.
Irshad. Thank you. Thank
Mr.
you very much.
Wattle, Mr. Wattle,
Yes.
am I audible? I don't know what has happened to my video.
No,
Can
no,
you see me?
you are audible. Javed Saab, you are audible and we can see you. So I would want you to speak next. So can you please?
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, I would just congratulate Mr. Ashok Ban to have such a nice debate. And previously on your previous debate, I was able to hear some of your speakers, in particular, Mr. I've forgotten the name, but anyway, what I'm going to let me speak in Kashmiri and let me speak in Urdu.
That would be great. That would be great, sir.
Because I think that I am here to talk about the common people from the valley, from Jammu and Kashmir. सबसे बड़ी बात जो है, बान साहब बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका कि आपने मुझे वक्त दे दिया. सबसे बड़ी बात जो है बान साहब वो ये है कि ग्राउंड सिचुएशन को अंडरस्टैंड करने की जरूरत है. मैंने इरशाद साहब को सुना, प्रोफेसर इरशाद ने बहुत अच्छी बातें की. एक बहुत ही अख कथ छ युस ऐसे अंडरस्टैंड करन छ सु छ ये न करे छ पाकिस्तान सोच न करे छ हिंदुस्तान सोच. अश करो कशिर पन्नस पानस पाने सोच. इच गोडनिच कथ. अगर ये अश अंडरस्टैंड करो और उसके बाद हम ये देखें कि हमें ना उनसे कुछ लेना है ना इनसे कुछ लेना है, जो हमारी सदियों की रिवायत थी, जो हमारा सदियों का भाईचारा था, वो किस तरह से रिवाइव किया जा सकता है, उसको अगर नजर लगी तो किसकी लगी. मैं मानता हूं कि गलतियां दोनों तरफ से हुई, हमसे भी, जो हम अपने आप को कश्मीर की मेजॉरिटी कम्युनिटी कहते हैं, हमसे भी गलतियां, लेकिन माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी भी गलतियां करने में पीछे नहीं रहे, उनसे भी गलतियां हुई. बट वी कैन नॉट टर्न द क्लॉक बैक. जो हुआ सो हुआ, लेकिन अब इसको ये देखना है कि युस बट दसगिर सुंद कसम ओस खेवान, युस मुसलमान गचान ओस मखदुम सोबुन तो मंदिर बोट ओस खसान, तमिस मुसलमानस तमिस बटस क्या गो. अश क्याज हेको न सु मिलचार, सु बाय बंदुत, सु रवादारी बे कायम करित. अत मंजन क्या परेशानी छ, मगर जई चीज छ अत मंजन यम दोनवनी कम्युनिटीजन, म्यानन बट बायन त मुसलमान कम्युनिटी त अंडरस्टैंड करनच जरूरत छ. सु छ ये कि अश मंजन त छ कि सेल्फ इंटरेस्टेड लुक, तोह मंजन त छ कि सेल्फ इंटरेस्टेड लुक. तुमन दोनवनी दरन पज यह चीज सोचुन तो समझुन कि सन सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट कतिस कालस पकन बोट. पाकिस्तानस पनुन इंटरेस्ट, हिंदुस्तानस पनुन इंटरेस्ट, अश कशरन गो तो गो क्या. सिकती मंजन म्यून यह बट बोय कैंपस मंजन सुरपु टपो सतन, बिछु टपो सतन, गर्म सतन परेशान. ये म्यून कशर बोय मुसलमान कशीर मंजन न सड़क न आब, डेवलपमेंट डेवलपमेंट डेवलपमेंट, कत डेवलपमेंट, किस डेवलपमेंट. सह कर तो तुह पूर, सह वुच तो कत जाय तिथ कनत हेको बीत क्या हेको कर. यम वर्चुअल मीटिंग्स यमो मजन क्या नेर अस बेहमो, अस समको, हिंदुस्तान त्रोन अक साइड, पाकिस्तान त्रोन बेक साइड, अस वुचो अमिस वुसो वातल सबस तो जावेद ककरस हेकि पानवनी डिफरेंस आसित, अस हेकि पानवनी इख्तिलाफ गछित, مگر ہندس تو مسلمانس چھُنہٕ کٕہٕنۍ اختلاف ییٚتہِ چھِنا بٹہٕ بسان یِمو تِم بٹہٕ یِمن مُسلمان تٕہنٛدِس غمس تہٕ خوشی منٛز شریٖک گژھان چھِ یِم بٹہٕ ییٚتہِ بسان چھِ مُسلمان چھِنا تِمن ہٕنٛدِس غمس تہٕ خوشی منٛز ہیرت آسہِ تہٕ أسۍ تتہِ عیٖد آسہِ تہٕ تِم اَسہِ سۭتۍ اَسے گوٚو تہٕ ہنٛگتہٕ منٛگس اَسہِ کیٛاہ گوٚو أسۍ کیٛازِ بوزو ہندوستانُک أسۍ کیٛازِ بوزو پٲکِستانُک بہٕ کیٛازِ بوزٕ نہٕ اشوک بان صٲب کیٛاہ چھُ وَنان بہٕ کیٛازِ بوزٕ نہٕ واتل صٲب کیٛاہ چھُ وَنان اَسہِ چھا ضروٗری أسۍ بناوو بِلوٗ پرنٹ پتہٕ ہسا پزِ اَسہِ یہِ کرُن پتہٕ ہسا پزِ اَسہِ ہُہ کرُن نو انٹلیکچوَلزم ول ورک ان اٹ آی ایم ٹیلنگ یوٗ دِس تھنگ بیٚیہِ چھُ بیاکھ چیٖز یُس ساروی کھۄتہٕ بُنیٲدی ضروٗری چیٖز چھُ کٔشیٖرِ ہُنٛد مسلہٕ کٔشیٖرِ ہٕنٛز تبٲہی پٔتمیو 3 ؤرِیو پٮ۪ٹھ اتھ چھِ 3 ڈایمینشنز تُہۍ وٕچھِو تُہۍ سوٗنٛچِو تُہۍ سمجھِو نمبر 1 چھُ اتھ لوکل ڈایمینشن نمبر 2 چھُ اتھ نیشنل ڈایمینشن نمبر 3 چھُ اتھ انٹرنیشنل ڈایمینشن بھگوان سُنٛد چھُ شُکُر خۄداے سُنٛد چھُ لاکھ لاکھ احسان کہ بہٕ چھُس امہِ کِس لوکل نیشنل تہٕ انٹرنیشنل 3 ڈایمینشنن پٮ۪ٹھ پٔتمیو 10-15 ؤرِیو پٮ۪ٹھ کٲم کران مگر اکھ چیٖز یُس اَسہِ وٕچھُن چھُ اَسہِ چھُ وٕچھُن کہ یُس میانہِ کٔمنِٹی ہٕنٛدۍ سیلف انٹرسٹس چھِ اَسہِ چھُنہٕ تِمن برونٛٹھ کنہِ جُکُن کینٛہہ یُس میٲنِس پنڈت بٲے سٕنٛدِس کٔمنِٹی ہٕنٛدٮ۪ن لوٗکن سیلف انٹرسٹڈ چھِ اَسہِ چھُنہٕ تِمن برونٛٹھ کنہِ جُکُن کینٛہہ اَسہِ چھُ وٕچھُن أسۍ کیٛاہ کرو سُہ گوٚو یِتھ کٔنتھ بہٕ دِمہٕ اکھ ژھوٚٹ مِثال اکھ سُہ گوٚو فِلم بنے ہتسا بنے فِلم گوٚو جان مگر سُہ فِلم پتہٕ پیٹرنیج کرٕنۍ تتھ منٛز ہاف ٹرُتھ برونٛٹھ کنٮ۪تھ انُن یہِ چھا فٲیدٕ میلان اَسہِ اکھ أکِس سۭتۍ نزدیٖک یِنُک کِنہٕ یہِ چھُ اکھ أکِس سۭتۍ دوٗر کران اگر وۄنۍ یہِ اَسہِ دوٗر کران تِمو بنٲو فِلم کشمیٖر فایلز پگاہ وۄتھن مُسلمان تِم بناون بیٚیہِ کانٛہہ فِلمہ سُہ چیٖز چھا اَسہِ دوٗر کران کہِ نزدیٖک انان أسۍ کیازِ چھِنہٕ یہِ چیٖز وٕچھان کہِ ہیو أسۍ نہ ہٮ۪کو نہٕ 1999 2010 واپس أنِتھ 2022 منٛز کینٛہہ أسۍ کیازِ بیہمو نہٕ تِم لُکھ مےٚ گژھِ بہٕ اوس مےٚ جناب محمد شفیع پنڈت صٲب ما آسن مےٚ بوزان وٕنکیٚنس پٔتمِس یُس تۄہہِ اکھ ڈسکشن کوٚروٕ یتھ منٛز نہٕ بہٕ شرکت ہیوٚکُس کٔرِتھ کینٛہہ بِکاز آف د نو کنیکٹِوٹی آف د انٹرنیٹ تتھ منٛز بوٗز مےٚ تِمو ووٚن کہِ أسۍ تہِ بناوو اکھ بِلیوٗ أسۍ کۭتیاہ بِلیوٗ پرنٹ بناوو کۭتیاہ فاروق عبداللہ تہٕ شیخ عبداللہ کروکھ أسۍ بیٚیہِ زِندٕ کۭتیاہ گیٖلٲنی کروکھ أسۍ بیٚیہِ زِندٕ کۭتیاہ ہُریت کروکھ أسۍ بیٚیہِ زِندٕ گوٚوے تہٕ گوٚو کیٛاہ سانہِ حق أسۍ کیازِ بیٚہمو نہٕ بان صٲب بہٕ چھُس تۄہہِ گُزٲرِش کران یِیِو سرینگر بہٕ ونو تۄہہِ اکھ کتھ یُس اکھ کامن انسان ییٚتیُک چھُ کٲشُر کامن یُس چھُ یُس ییٚتیُک ریڈٕ وول چھُ یُس ییٚتیُک سبزی کٕنن وول چھُ یُس ییٚتیُک دۄہ موٚزوٗر کرن وول چھُ تٔمِس چھنہٕ پریشٲنی مےٚ کیٛاہ دِیہِ ہندوستان تہٕ مےٚ کیٛاہ دِیہِ پٲکِستان تٔمِس پریشٲنی بہٕ کِتھ کٔنتھ روزٕ پننِس مکھن لالس سۭتۍ بہٕ کِتھ کٔنتھ روزٕ پننِس روشن لالس سۭتۍ تٔمِس پریشٲنی بہٕ کِتھ کٔنتھ زینہٕ آنہٕ ژور مگر یِم وعدٕ کٔرِکھ اَسہِ سۭتۍ تِم وعدٕ گیا پوٗرٕ آیا تِم ووٚنکھا تِم بے عزتی یُس کٔرٕکھ سُہ بے عزتی سُہ بے عزتی ہٕنٛدِس تتھ منٛز کم از کم اکھ ایپالوجی تہِ کٔرِو اور یہِ چیٖز ذہنس منٛز تھٲیِو یہِ چیٖز اپنٲوِتھ کٔرتو اکھ کٲم تُہۍ میٲنۍ بٹہٕ بٲے تُہۍ میانہِ بٹہٕ بیٚنہِ تُہۍ میانہِ بٹہٕ ماجہِ اَسہِ چھُنہ دود أسے وَنان چھِ اَسے گوٚو تہٕ گوٚو کیٛاہ یِیِو نالہٕ مٔتۍ کرو مگر پتہٕ ژھانڈو أسۍ نسا اَتہِ گژھِ آسٕنۍ الگ کالنی نسا اَسہِ گژھِ آسٕنۍ الگ سڑک اَسہِ گژھِ آسُن الگ ہوا اَسہِ گژھِ آسُن الگ چمن یہِ چلیا یہِ چھا مُمکِن یہِ کِتھ کٔنتھ چھُ مُمکِن أسۍ کیازِ بیہمو نہٕ أسۍ کیازِ کرو نہٕ کتھ تِمن چیٖزن پٮ۪ٹھ یِم چیٖز پاسِبٕل چھِ یِمن چیٖزن أسۍ اکھ رِزلٹ ہٮ۪کو أچیٖو کٔرِتھ بہٕ حیثیتِ جاوید ککروٗ بہٕ حیثیتِ کشمیٖر وایس انٹرنیشنلُک یہِ حظ یہِ سیکرٹری یُس UKS منٛز کٲم کران چھِ لوکل لیولہِ پٮ۪ٹھ چھُس بہٕ سرینگرس منٛز کٲم کران نیشنل لیولہِ پٮ۪ٹھ چھُس بہٕ کٲم انٹرنیشنل لیولہِ پٮ۪ٹھ چھُس بہٕ کٲم کیازِ ہٮ۪کو نہٕ یہِ چیٖز أسۍ برونٛٹھ پکنٲوِتھ یہِ گوٚژھ راکٹ ساینس چھُ انڈرسٹینڈ کرُن یِم 2 distant communities یِم زن in order to bridge them we need to be practical اَسہِ چھُ پریکٹِکل بننٕچ کوٗشش کرٕنۍ اَسہِ چھُ گژھُن سِگدی کیمپس منٛز اَسہِ چھُ وٕچھِنۍ تتہِ سٲنِس بٹہٕ بٲیِس کُس پریشٲنی چھِ میٲنِس بٹہٕ بٲیِس چھُ یُن سرینگر تٔمِس چھُ وٕچھُن مےٚ کُس پریشٲنی چھِ بہٕ وَنو تۄہہِ ژھوٚٹ مِثال اکھ بہٕ اوسُس گژھان آز ڈینٹسٹس نِش مےٚ دیُت نہٕ ملٹری وٲلۍ CRP وٲلۍ گٲڑی پارک کرنہٕ ژٕ ہٮ۪ککھ نہٕ ییٚتٮ۪ن گٲڑۍ پارک کٔرِتھ مےٚ کیازِ بہٕ کیازِ کرنہٕ اَکہِ پارک ووٚنُن مےٚ چھُ IGP یس یُن IGP چھا میانہِ کھۄتن کھٔسِتھ why I should this nonsense بہٕ کیازِ کرٕ یہِ nonsense برداشت کیازِ کہِ IGP یس چھُ یُن IGP کُس he is a government servant مےٚ یی نہٕ گٲڑۍ پارک کرنہٕ یِم لۄکٕٹۍ لۄکٕٹۍ چیٖز یِم معموٗلی معموٗلی مسلہٕ بہٕ چھُس ایپرِشیٹ کران پننِس برٛوہمِس سپیٖکرس ییٚمۍ یہِ ووٚن اَسہِ چھُ مٔشیٖد ہٕنٛدِس اِمامس گژھُن اَسہِ چھُ گژھُن پرایمری سکوٗل کِس ٹیٖچرس تٔمِس چھُ وَنُن بہٕ چھُس تٔمہِ بۄن تہِ وسلہٕ اَسہِ چھُ ریڈٕ وٲلِس نِش گژھُن تٔمِس سمجاوُن ہے ببا اَسے گوٚو تہٕ گوٚو کیٛاہ أسے موٗدۍ تہٕ کیازِ موٗدۍ سو یہِ چیٖز چھُ مےٚ چھِ کتھٕ واریاہ وَننہِ مگر بہٕ چھُس وَنان یِمہٕ کتھٕ وَنہٕ ہا بہٕ تتٮ۪ن یتھ جایہِ مےٚ بوزن وول آسہِ ہے کانٛہہ میٲنِس یتھ ؤرچُوَل میٖٹنگ منٛز چھُ آی ایپرِشیٹ بان صاحب بیٚیہِ اکہِ پھِرِ تۄہہِ سلیوٹ بیٚیہِ اکہِ پھِرِ تۄہہِ بہت بہت شکریہ آپ کا کہ آپ نے ہمیں یہ موقع دے دیا یہاں پہ آنے کا میں ذرا تھوڑا سا بہت کچھ کہنا چاہتا تھا لیکن میرے بہت سارے اسپیکرس آگے بھی ہیں ان کو بھی بات کرنے کا موقع ملنا چاہیے میں چند اپنے انہی الفاظ کے ساتھ آپ سے بڑی معذرت کے ساتھ اگر میری بات کسی کو ناگوار گزری ہو میں معافی چاہتا ہوں ان الفاظ کے ساتھ میں آپ سے اجازت چاہوں گا ہو سکتا ہے کہ تیرے دل میں اتر جائے میری بات
Thank you. Thank you, Javed Saab. Thank you.
Okay. So, Javed Saab, تُہۍ چھِو وَنان کہِ ییٚتہِ چھِنہ بَٹہٕ روزان وٕنکیٚنَس سرینگرَس منٛز yes اَتہِ چھِ روزان and what I'll do is یُس اَسہِ next speaker چھُ I would call upon Sanjay Tikku Saab. Sanjay Tikku Saab چھُ تۄہہِ سۭتی تٔتی روزان he will give us ground level.
Janab Wadal Saab, I don't know what has happened to the video. Can you just put me on the video as well, please?
No, you are there on the video.
I can't see you.
Okay. No, then it's a problem at your end. I will not be able to do anything on this.
No problem.
I will now request Sanjay Tikku Saab to give us his thoughts. Sanjay ji has been living in Srinagar all through. So
it was wonderful.
He gives us on the ground
perspective.
Sanjay ji.
Namaskar, Adab. I am audible.
Namaskar, Sanjay ji.
Okay. वैसे इत्यादि ऑनरेबल स्पीकर च तमाम जानन में लगभग सारी कशीर मंच बसान पचमन दोइतरा वरी लगभग च सारी मेलित गमित येत पेट जावेद साहब सहित मीटिंग वर्चुअल मीटिंग करमच युस वुनकन क्वेश्चन छु कि क्या वे फॉरवर्ड छा कह चीज कि ना अगर मैं तुम वनिव कि 2019 ब्रोट बह वनो तुम 101% मारा अगर तुम वनकस वनिव वनकस मे बासान कि यह सह पोन मंदुन तो तम मज नेर तथ वजह क्या सारी इग्नोर करान बेसिकली गो वजह 5 अगस्त 2019 तम पे मज ये बने ओपन जेलस मज थुक कम्युनिकेशन कर कट ऑफ ती आव मीडिया मज हावन कि सोरी ठीक मगर जान सुई तम सात नारस मज मज बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली میانوی بایو کور دل مز ڈانس بمبیس مز ڈانس یس پتہ اس یتی ویتراون پیو یت کئی 90s مز یتھے سن برادری درائے مثال کلنگز گئی کہ ساری کران کت زہت کنوہ موت بس یتھے اوسا اسے مسلمان عید بھائی موت کوچن نمبر کوچن قشر بٹ کیازِ آو مار قشر مسلمان سہ مسلمان کیازِ آو مارنہ یس بہ بائی ہارٹ اس انڈین مگر کت تان اس تمس ہندوستان دگ ات سی ہوم منسٹر ون کہ کتنے مارے گئے 2019 سے لے کے 25 اکتوبر لاسٹ ایئر یم سات بہ ملس تمس دس سر اتنے مارے گئے کشمیری پنڈت تم بس اتنے ہی مارے گئے سو یم چیز تم پتہ ڈیولپمنٹ آئی کرنے یہ پتہ آئی یور فارنرس فارن ڈیلیگیشن آئی تم کمن میل خبر مے میول نا کھانا شفیع صبس میول نا کھانا جاوید صبس میول نا کھانا اس ون تمن کہ یہ کیو حالات اس کت مز ونکس بسان تم انک نیک ڈل گیٹ ہوک ڈل جھیل تم درائے تو یہ سا یہ وازوانہ کھوک تو ورت درائے مگر یس سفرر سہ مز چاہے بٹ مسلمان سکھ بودھ بیاکھ سہ منموہن سنگھن انو امہ خاطر یور کہ یہ کلچرل یا امبیلنس گمت بکاز آف مائگریشن تم کرے تم پی ایمس پیکیج اخ اناؤنسمنٹ 6000 جابس کہ تمس باسو کہ 6,000 بنن پگہ 24,000 تو وچھو پانے کہ 2003 مز گو لاس میسکر آف کشمیری پنڈت نادمر 18 وہر گسان فرسٹ کلنگ اصلی نان مائگریٹس یم سات مسٹر بندرو آو مار تم برو گو ان دا منتھ آف جون 2020 مز اس مانان تم پولٹیکل کلنگس اجے بھارتی اینڈ اندر سرپنچ پنچ تو سرپنچ تھی سی گئی کہ مسلمان پنچ تو سرپنچ مگر فرسٹ کلنگ گئی 2003 پہ 2021 مز سو گئی مسٹر بندرو سن 18 وری کت کن درائے تر من کنٹریبیوشن ہر کس ہز بان صبن میان لوکن ہز شفیع پنڈت صبن سارنس کنٹریبیوشن تر یم سات باسان کہ سٹیٹ ویک گسان کن طریقہ لارجر سیکشن آف دا میجارٹی گسان کہ یہ پگہ ما گی پرابلم اس لیے کرتو یہ کرو یہ گھ بیسکلی بدنام کت گسان بدنام انٹرنیشنل لیول پہ گسان قشر من نبر سہ بدنام گسان کی چاہے سہ مسلمان چاہے بٹ چاہے سکھ تم پتہ امپلمنٹیشن آئی کرنے یہ مے ورتن گوتی ہوم منسٹر یا پرائم منسٹر آف انڈیا کہ 5 اکتوبر لاسٹ ایئر کیاز گئی کے پی کلنگس یا ریسنٹلی ان دا منتھ آف مے راہل بٹ کیاز آو مارنے اگر تم دعوت کران یوت کہ سب کچھ ٹھیک ہے ہمارا ایل جی بھی یہ کہہ رہا ہے کہ سب کچھ ٹھیک ہے کیا ٹھیک ہے ایز اے سنجے تکو اس مز درا بربشاس من بسان 2-3 وری وت میں یہ بہس ٹارگیٹس پہ فرسٹ ٹائم بہس ہکان آج پولیس ورائے نبر نیرت یہ حالت ہے تمہ پتہ ورنو مے بیاکھ ساری ونان بلو پرنٹ یا اچھے پانوے کت کر مے باسان پہ پانوے کت کر تکیاز ساری ساری اپز ونان پوز ونان کہیں مے ونتو تھی پرستو گورنمنٹ آف انڈیا ٹھیک پاکستان پوچھ میں 2-3 وری گورنمنٹ آف انڈیا سبھی لوگ پوچھنا چاہیے بٹ مسلمان سکھ کہ تہ ٹائم دتو ٹیررسٹ آرگنائزیشن سب کرت بہنس کم سے کم 1.5 وری آفٹر 5th of August 2019 یہ انٹل کت یہ سیکورٹی ایجنسی ول کت یہ TRF کتہِ آو میانہِ گرِ زاو نہٕ کینٛہہ تُہنٛدِ گرِ زاو نہٕ کینٛہہ بان صٲبنہِ گرِ زاو نہٕ کینٛہہ یِم شُرۍ چھِ 17 وُہُر ٹُو 21 وُہُر یہِ آو کتہِ یہ OGW چھُ مےٚ ہمسایہِ دٔچھُن کھووری آسان گامس منٛز چھُ مےٚ یہوے OGW یہ آو کتہِ اَسہِ چھُ ضروٗری ایڈریس کرُن کہِ کٔمۍ تانۍ سپیٖکرن ووٚن یُس بہٕ تہِ چھُس مانان کہ اَسہِ چھُ گراوُنڈ لیولہِ پٮ۪ٹھ ایڈریس کرٕنۍ ایڈریس میٖنٕز گۄڈٕ چھُ اَسہِ وٕچھُن کہِ مےٚ کٔر اوترٕ تہِ أپیٖل ییٚتہِ کٮ۪ن مولوی صاحبانن تھروٗ میٖڈیا کہ جمعہ دۄہ دیٖتو اکھ سرمنا ٲسۍتو دۄہے دِوان بیسک انڈر اسلام نٮ۪بر نیرن تِم کِہیٖنۍ کہ أکِس مینارٹی کیٛاہ حق چھُ تہٕ أکِس مُسلمانس کِتھ کٔنۍ پزِ اکھ مینارٹی بچاوٕنۍ یہ چھُنہٕ کل تھاوُن یِتھ کٔنۍ تہٕ پتہٕ درٛاے أسۍ کیٛاہ کرو اتے گانوس ییٚلہِ بٹن توٚگ 90s منٛز واریاہ مُسلمان بچاوٕنۍ
سنجے ٹکو صٲب اکھ چیٖز کرٕ بہٕ تُہنٛدِس منٛز ایڈ ییٚلہِ تُہۍ ونان چھِو کہِ یہِ مِلٹنٹ کپٲرۍ آو یہِ اوور گراوُنڈ ورکر کپٲرۍ آو اتہِ کٔرِو اکھ چیٖز بیٚیہِ ایڈ یہِ ان آیڈنٹِفایڈ گن تہِ کپٲرۍ آو
رائٹ سر آئی ایگری
کیازکہِ اگر أسۍ اوور گراوُنڈ ورکر ہیٚکون کٔرِتھ آیڈنٹِفاے اگر أسۍ مِلٹنٹ ہیٚکون آیڈنٹِفاے کٔرِتھ أسۍ کیازِ ہیٚکون نہٕ آیڈنٹِفاے کٔرِتھ کہِ یہِ ان آیڈنٹِفایڈ گن کتہِ چھُ معٲفی گژھم دِنۍ معٲفی سوری فار انٹرپشن
نو یو آر آلویز ویلکم تُہۍ وٕچھِو ییٚتہِ اَتہِ اگر أسۍ وۄنۍ نِمو أسۍ KP کلنگسٕے یٲژ گورمنٹ ونان چھِ 219 أسۍ وٲتۍ 803 تانۍ ٹھیٖک ہے بہٕ سوزو تۄہہِ کُنہِ دۄہ سُہ سورُے سُہ RTI تھروٗ تتھ چھُ ہر کُنہِ جایہِ لیٖکھِتھ ان نون گن مین وایل اَسہِ ہمسایس تہِ چھِ پاے کہِ یہِ بٹہٕ کٔمۍ مور ٹھیٖک ہے یہِ ان نون کیازِ بنیو اچھا اوترُک جس دِس راہُل بٹ چھُ کوٚرُکھ ان نون گن مین ہسا اوس آفٹر 2 days چھُ ونان IG کشمیٖر کہ اَسہِ ہسا کوٚر سُہ تِم کٔرۍ ایلمِنیٹ مےٚ ؤنۍتو مہراج بھگوان سٕنٛدۍ پاس تہٕ خۄداے سٕنٛدۍ پاس اگر أمِس IG یس پاے چھِ أمِس آوا کانٛہہ تیُتھ ؤحی پیٹھۍ کِنۍ کہ أمۍ کوٚر سُہ آیڈنٹِفاے تمے ساتہٕ تٔمۍ ووٚن نہٕ سُہ کنس منٛز کہ راہُل بٹ کوٚر مےٚ ییٖژ ترٛٹھ تہِ کیٛاہ چھُ أسے کٔشیٖرِ منٛز بسان چھِ اَتہِ چھِنہ مِلٹنسی وٕچھمٕژٕے اَتہِ چھِنہ یہِ مہراج یِم سٹریٹجی وٕچھمٕژٕے بان صٲب زانہِ میانہِ کھۄتہٕ زیادٕ سٹریٹجی أسے کٔشیٖرِ منٛز چھِ اَسہِ یِم چھِ اَسہِ وۄنۍ تاران کہ اَسہِ مور بہٕ وَنو وِد 100% شورٹی تِم چھِ وٕنہِ تہِ زِندٕ سو کوسچن چھُ مطلب یِم چھِ کینٛہہ پہلوٗ تِتھۍ یِمن منٛز اَسہِ ضروٗری چھُ یہِ ہسا یہِ اَژُن تہٕ وَسُن ییٚتہِ چھُ آخر کب تک چلان لال چوکس منٛز یتھ منٛز میٲنۍ بٹہٕ بٲیی بٹہٕ چھِ آسان سوشل میڈیاہس پٮ۪ٹھ ٹویٖٹ کران دیکھو جی کشمیری مسلمان نکل رہے ہیں باہر مےٚ باسان کینٛہہ نفرن آسہِ پاے کہِ سُہ کُس چھُ سپانسرڈ کران تِمن کُن کانٛہہ ماران مےٚ ؤنۍتو BJP یس وٲلِس کُس موٗرُکھ وٕنکیٚنس تانۍ تہٕ بٹسٕے تہٕ نان مسلمس کیازِ یِم پتہٕ لٔگمٕتۍ یِم کیازِ JK پُلیٖسس پتہٕ لٔگمٕتۍ یِم کیازِ تٔمِس مُسلمانس پتہٕ لٔگمٕتۍ یُس کوٗشش چھُ کران کہ ییٚتہِ گژھِ نارملایزیشن گژھٕنۍ تہٕ وٕچھو مگر ایونٹس فرام 5th of بہٕ گژھٕ نہٕ دوٗر کینٛہہ 5th of October till May ترٛےٚ چیٖز چھُ وٕنکیٚس TRF کِس مطلب لسٹس منٛز اکھ چھُ بٹہٕ بیٚیہِ چھُ نان لوکل ہُنٛد بیٚیہِ چھُ پُلیٖس بیٚیہِ چھُ سُہ مُسلمان یُس کتھ چھُ ہٮ۪کان مطلب سُہ کرِ کتھ بِچور تٔمِس چھِنہٕ دِوان کتھٕے کرُن BJP وول کیازِ ہیٚکہِ نہٕ یہِ نیشنل کانفرنس ورکر کیازِ مارِ نہٕ they are openly going to their headquarters بڑٕ تِم مورُکھ یہِ ہسا BJP یُک یا کانگریسُک تِم سرپنچ مُسلمان مٔرِکھ 3 نفر ٹوٹل اگر وۄنۍ ریشو کڑو تیٚلہِ چھُس بہٕ مران زیادٕ دۄہے ایز کمپیٲرڈ ٹو د مسلمز اچھا بیاکھ چیٖز ووٚن کٔمۍ تانۍ کہِ اگر تُہۍ وٕچھِو سوشل میڈیاہس منٛز اوس ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ مسٹر بِندرو مورُکھ there was thousands of condemnation ٹھیٖک ہے ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ راہُل بٹ مور there was only 1% of that. Actually, many record was also. Yapar Sama Mana such a suit. Tell gas the condemnation curtain nearer. Ganechu, Yasay Patkanich, and I tell like it CBI to chew, ED to choose forage. Magar Kutis calls. Yet can the Sas Artasmas when you're sorry, get a Makale, militancy gone or yet Katam, Subkuch Katam, Ban Sabas I say. No one Ban Sabas is Marakathan to Gosson Wall. Dover Kiagas, it was Machine Pike and Margachi. Go Amarnath Land Road. And nobody was expecting the Jumu and Kushit Kasanalan. That's a blockade to go down to home. But I type the Manai Traders Association of Oil Pathar, it can sit with those meeting once. So it's just sorry, Mabasa Hawan Gage Kada. Yeah, Hawan Gage Kada, as we show the government of India, Kitke Wallo is Koranta. Whether it be BJP, whether it be the Congress, whoever it is. Agasu Vananchu Kashir Taj, Buchus Bu Koshur, Tamit Tajik Tim, Yasaya, Kashtim Koinor. You Batisha Musaman Shas Siksha, Achitamik Tim Koinor that. So, mere suggestion is it can get to going to meal to us. Yam Urshad Erd family, Kurto Kando has say, Rathkandita, your as Gaso Harkui Garaspas, as Prosotivan by a catch the problem. Yes, other petting killings get to a catch Basa. Even though as Nishwata, say day to day information, Kunjachi problems, such as Koshish Kara Pani level per solve Karnas. Tivanti Base na Nish Avka. As Gaso human migrant and Nishtu Ganchu Galti, one migrant, which is Pusani boy. Gim Pasas, you are I am job Chikaran. Timar must take to 3 for him to put his Pandasas, Urchitresas, Sorsas, go Busas, Kershir, but Chikashirimas. Magar, we have to reach out each and every person. Ego arc. Number is the Kagasi us non-migrant ship. Us Marach Zata Dusatan Jayan Basan Pur Kashir. So we can cover 272 villages and mohallas. Mohalwalan se karo tadi ka, tadi masjid committee se karo ka, bazaar committee se karo ka, tadi kis local youth. Tadi se karo ka, just that vicinity was schools. That is school can teacher se karo ka, student se karo ka, as one of them to you when you as kya pach ko. Kit kahe hai ki aam log without fear on life banai with malab Kashmir. Investment she iwan your taxul kansha. Magar so investment she visibly kunja. So मैं बासा इच्छु आक मेरे suggestion number is इच्छु कि reach out to the common people. which हमारा अच्छी जरूरी बात है अगर इस कश्मीर बचावन कश्मीर बचावन doesn't mean कि बाटच बचाओ कश्मीर बचावन doesn't mean कि मुसलमान बचाओ कश्मीर बचावन मतलब शु कि इस में सन सानी कश्मीर वालन हिज 5 साल written history छ यस मज वुन सूफीज़म छु ऋषिज़म ति आज ओस खानगाह वाला ये आज दो तौर के बढ़ती गई तथे सिर्फ मुसलमान याद किए न छोन सु 90s मज न छोन सु वुनकस हाँ पॉपुलेशन हिसाब विजिबिलिटी कहें क्योंकि बहुत सरदार कह कि बह हेक लक्षस मज पहचान सो जैसे कोकरो साहब है वैसे मैं हूँ हाँ वन युत अगर बह टोक कर कोकर साहब लाइक यह सा नमाज तुम तो गो डिफरेंशिएट यह मुसलमान तो बहुत बड़ अदरवाइज अगर इकवटे नीर वन यमस कुछ बड़ तो यमस कुछ मुसलमान त्रेम चीज माना जरूरी कि वनकस केयर या केयर कह चीज गवर्नमेंट वन मतलब लेट इट बी ए हार्श लेटर टू द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया کہ تُہۍ ؤنِو تۄہہِ کیازِ توٚگوُ نہٕ یہِ TRF ختم کرُن اگر مےٚ چھِ پاے کہِ TRF کِتھ کٔنۍ گژھِ ختم اگر کۄکرو صٲبس چھِ پاے TRF کِتھ کٔنۍ گژھِ ختم أسۍ کِتھ کٔنۍ ہٮ۪کو نفر بچٲوِتھ پنٕنۍ پروجنی کِتھ کٔنۍ ہٮ۪کون أسۍ بچٲوِتھ بیٚیہِ چھُ بیٛاکھ چیٖز یُس ییٚتہِ ڈرگ مینس چھُ یہ چھُ ہر کُنہِ گلی منٛز یہ چھُ ہر کُنہِ محلس منٛز جو لوکل لیول کی پولیس ہے SHO لیول کی پولیس ہے DSP لیول کی پولیس ہے SP لیول کی جو رینک ہے تمن چھِ سارنٕے پاے کُس تِم کون ایکشن نِوان وٕچھ مگر ییٖتِس کالس نہٕ تُہۍ لا اینڈ آرڈر چھُنہٕ ڈنڈو سۭتی یوت کرُن کینٛہہ لیٹ دیم ہیو آن سنڈے أنٛدۍ تِم سٲری بُلٲے مٲلہٕ پتہٕ مٲلہٕ تتھ منٛز آسن یتھ مٲلس منٛز بٹہٕ آسہِ باسان سُہ دی باقٕے مُسلمان تہِ یِن سِکھ تہِ یی یِم کٔرۍ تو انٹریکشن پانہٕ ؤنۍ گۄڈنٮ۪تھٕے پُلیس سٹیشنن منٛز تٔتھۍ منٛز گژھِ یُس یہِ ڈرگ مینس چھُ یہِ گژھِ تٔتی ختم کیونکہِ بہٕ وَنو تۄہہِ اکھ چیٖز مطلب وِتھ ایتھارٹی ییٚتہِ چھُ 90% مولویز دے آر ناٹ سِنسیر they are not sincere as on day تِم چھِ بڑٕ واز پران آسان جُمعہ دۄہ بہٕ چھُس بوزان آسان اَتہِ چھِ 3 مٔشیٖد ییٚتہِ اکھ چھِ آل حدیث مٔشیٖد بیٛاکھ چھُم صوفی مٔشیٖد بیٛاکھ چھُم کۄستانۍ مٔشیٖد 3 ہِنٛدِ واز چھُس بوزان کیونکہِ گرِ چھُس بِہِتھ آسان لاوُڈ سپیٖکر چھِ آز لٔگِتھ مینارن پٮ۪ٹھ ٹھیٖک ہے مگر اگر پتہٕ وٕچھو تُہۍ implementation on ground zero that is nil that is zero اَسہِ پَزِ یِمن تہِ گژھُن اَسہِ پَزِ تِمن ہندوستان کٮ۪ن مولوین نِش گژھُن کینٛہہ یِم یور یِوان چھِ پتہٕ چھِ کرٛکہٕ دِوان BJP کِس یتھ پلیٹ فارمس پٮ۪ٹھ مےٚ چھُ یِہوے مولوی رٹُن مےٚ چھُ یِہوے پنڈت جی رٹُن مےٚ چھُ یِہوے گرنتھ جی رٹُن یُس ییٚتی چھُ UP وول مولوی کیٛاہ کرِ مےٚ UP وول پریٖسٹ کیٛاہ کرِ مےٚ نَے چھُنہٕ تٔمۍ سٕے واسطے کانٛہہ سو یہ چھِ میٲنۍ اینلسس وٕنکیٚنس تام اینڈ آنے والے سمے اگر یہ گژھِ علم گژھِ یہ ہسا یہ سارنٕے زندٕ تھاوُن آنے والا سمے یُس لوکل لیول بہٕ چھُس ونان تۄہہِ انٹر لیولہِ پٮ۪ٹھ کہِ لوکل لیولہِ پٮ۪ٹھ بہت ہی خراب آنے والا سورُے گژھِ رُت روزُن عیٖذ پتہٕ I am worried سورُے چھُنہٕ ہٮ۪کان اوپنلی مگر مےٚ ووٚنمو تۄہہِ اوپنلی وٕنکیٚس أسۍ مَران چھِ ؤریٖڈ وٕنکیٚس کیونکہِ یُس لوکل اِنپوٹ چھُ اِٹ اِز ناٹ انٹرنل اِنپوٹ مےٚ چھُنہٕ انٹرنل سۭتۍ واسطے کانٛہہ تہِ ہیٚکہِ سُہ یہ ہسا یہ کنفٲرم کٔرِتھ نہ پولیس کے ساتھ کوئی واسطہ ہے یہ کِتھ کٔنۍ چھُ ننان یہِ چھُ سبزی وٲلِس نِش ننان یِتھ کٔنۍ جاوید صٲبن ووٚن یہِ چھُ دۄدٕ وٲلِس نِش ننان تتہِ چھِ کران نفر ٲٹھ کتھ یہِ چھُ ننان یُس خاص منٛز وٕنکیٚس مزدوٗر گژھان چھُ یہِ چھُ تتٮ۪تھ ننان تٔمۍ کر ہتھ کرنس نی تٔمۍ اکھ جوکا یہِ کتھ تہِ کٔرِتھ مگر سچویشن چھنہٕ سۄ یتھ منٛز أسۍ یہِ کلیم کرو کہِ أسۍ چھِ سیف I think nobody is safe in the valley. تُہۍ کٔرِو وَنان کنسنٹریشن 90 کر کیونکہِ 90 منٛز ٲسۍ أسۍ 3.5 لچھ 4 لچھ ٹوٗل تہٕ اس لیے محلہٕ گٔے خٲلی تمہِ ساتہٕ 90 منٛز تہٕ باسیو کیٛاہ تام چھُ کٔشیٖرِ منٛز گژھان گوٚمُت وٕنکیٚس اگر اَتھ بٹس 800 مطلب 800 فیملی أسۍ نیرو کوئی فرق نہیں پڑنے والا ہے کشمیر میں یا تُہۍ وٕچھو اوترے ریسنٹلی درٛاے 10-15 دۄہ برونٛٹھ یِم سٲنۍ ایمپلایز فرق باسیو تۄہہِ کُنہِ جایہِ کُنہِ جایہِ چھُنہٕ فرق 60-70% درٛاے مینلی یِم آن رینٹڈ بیسس گورمنٹ دِوان اکہِ حساب یپٲرۍ تم ہم جی وہ کر رہے ہیں أکِس کمرس منٛز چھِ تِم شُکرٲومٕتۍ 4 بٲژ اہن مگر أسۍ چھا یہِ ہسا یہِ جنگلی جانور کہِ اَسہِ تُلن أکِس کیمپہٕ پٮ۪ٹھ دوٚیمِس کیمپس پٮ۪ٹھ یہِ ہسا یہِ تراوُن تمہِ خٲطرٕ پزِ یُس اَسہِ انٹلیکچُوَل مسلم کوٚمنٹی چھِ تِمن تہِ پزِ اہن یِمو کیٛاہ کوٚر بِچارِ 50,000 کروڑ چھُ وٕنکیٚنس اتھ پٮ۪ٹھ یہِ بجٹ اتھ گوٚو بیٚیہِ اوترٕ تہِ ایڈ بیٚیہِ سو مےٚ وَنان بہٕ اوسُس بال صٲب یہِ ہسا یہِ سو تھینک یوٗ ویری مچ بہٕ چھُس باقٕے شُکریہ کران سارنٕے
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thanks a lot. I think with that we move on. Dr. Qazi Ashraf Saab, is your sound okay now? Dr. Qazi Ashraf. Dr. Sir?
Yes, am I audible now?
Yes.
I think it's okay. It's better.
Okay.
Right? Thank you. Yeah, I'm on it.
Dr. Sir, please go ahead.
I'm on it. Yeah. So I'm Dr. Qazi Ashraf. I'm basically a certified oncologist by profession, and I do take care we have a group who we are working on grants with the group named United Front, of which I'm the founding member. And we have been pushing for an intra-Kashmir dialogue for a long time. Somehow we couldn't push it through because of the constraints, certain constraints which we couldn't somehow get through. So now Baath-2 has initiated this exercise. I'm deeply happy, and this exercise has been long overdue. I'm pretty sure that Baath will soon metamorphose into an engaging exercise for the benefit of the whole society of Kashmir. Each one of us understands that we desperately need the ball going, and so I guess we have been misunderstood, and we have been unduly exploited for the past 70 years, especially. And we need to do something for it. As one of the speakers put out, that we basically have to come out and we have to do something for ourselves on our own. And that's true. I agree with that. In principle, I do agree with that. But how to do that? The problem is how to get right. But to my mind, the first thing that we come together, because we have to understand that we are the legacies of one of the most extraordinary and prolific civilizations. So the problem is that we have ignored our history, or rather we have been driven into ignoring our cultural history. I don't agree with one of the past. Digging into the past, I will never come about with the solution. But the problem is here that without looking back, we cannot basically look forward. So in order to look forward in a constructive manner, it's incumbent upon us as a society to look back into our past and see what has, after all, our civilization has been for the past more than 5,000 years. Buzhama, the exhibition of the program Buzhama, our glaring example of our civilization, civilizational roots and civilizational legacy, and our cross-cultural sort of what do you call that, unique. Now, the reason, the majority commoners in Kashmir, for us, the history begins from 1947. I think that's not so, and I think that conception, the perception has to be changed. The earlier the better. The reason for that has been basically, unfortunately, the educational policy of the government, which has been repeatedly carried out here, probably with the intent of just trying to assimilate Kashmir with the rest of the country. In schools, as far as I'm concerned, in schools we were never taught history of Kashmir, although the foundational text for the history of the whole subcontinent has been Raja Taranga, and that's a paradox. This educational policy, which has entailed omitting the 2,000-year history of Kashmir backward and landed us where we are, and we are just basically just reaping the fruit of that negligence which has been criminally committed by these successive governments right from the beginning, right from 1947. And so when we start a dialogue, we must try to look back and see it. There are problems we understand. Both the communities have their own grievances and the Pandit community, yes, which has migrated from the valley. Yes, there's been a horrible experience for the community. But I think migration after all should not be equated with the Holocaust, and they have to be also be milder on assessing what has happened in the past. None of the Muslims, after the majority, have been sort of supportive of the migration, or none of the Muslims have been happy. As far as I understand, as far as I know, the people here have been staying here for long, have been residing there, practicing there, have been just interacting with people. The very, very, sort of, because I deal with the public there every day. I interact with more than 30 to 50 people. So that thing has to be also understood. What probably I understand is that we have to little bit put a sort of a perspective, has to little bit change of a perspective, and this put a touch of civility and a touch of what you call kindness and a little bit of softness to what has happened so far, and we have to probably think pragmatically and come together and try to discuss what sort of things we are facing, what are problems we do face, and how to come about those problems. No, until and unless we do these meetings, until and unless we just talk to each other, we will not be able to know what the other man has in the mind. And I think in that sense, it would be pessimistic or sort of skeptical to say that all these meetings, these internet meetings or these virtual meetings, there's no truth. I think that is not a good assessment. We have to be positive, and we have to be prepared. And as long as we impact and as long as we understand each other and try to understand, listen to each other, I think there will be solutions and there will be things which we can go to, because we have not many agreements, and we do have disagreements, but there are not many agreements between the two societies. Unfortunately, the religion has created the single nationalities, and we have to just probably we have to take a hard ground, and I think that is the need of ours. And on that, I would like to. I'm very happy that this has happened. That this is after all this type of meetings have taken place, and I think we will participate in these meetings. We should participate in these meetings and try to listen to each other's thoughts so that we may just go ahead with the future and find out some common sort of solutions to the problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Saab. So with that, we move on, and as we had discussed last time, we wanted views from youngsters. We were encouraging a lot of youngsters to join in. So one of the youngsters that I have on board today is we have Rahila Khan with us. So I would want Rahila to go next. Rahila ji, would you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And you may want to start your video, because if
I actually I landed in Kashmir today, so I'm still, pretty overwhelmed.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me here. And I understand the essence of this get together is something that is totally apart from politics, and it's pretty profound in its own way.
Can you please unmute your video?
Is it necessary?
All right, then. Okay. Forget it. But now, if you want to talk only through video, that's all right. That's all right. No issue.
Ji. Like maybe next time. Like right now, I'm kind of yeah.
Okay, carry on, please.
Ji. So what I was getting at is the platform basically is the essence of this platform is bridging the gap of the two communities. But what really needs to come out of this platform is some practical solutions wherein some quarterly follow-ups are done as a matter of fact. So, I mean, I have a couple of suggestions that I would like to put forth. I believe harmony is not only created by dialogues. We need to have active participation from both sides. And by active participation, I mean conducting cultural events, activities, wherein more than a dialogue is taking place. And I understand these are simple things, but it's these simple things that are important. And as they pile up, they become pretty significant. We can have kids participate in any inter-community activity. We love sports. I mean, we enjoy sports. We love eating. We can have activities revolving around women and cooking, and we can conduct these activities whenever we can. And I'm being reminded of one stand-up comedian, late Mr. Maharaj Kol. And by far, like I found his comedy like one of the most hilarious things that I've watched. And it's all cultural based. And there is Kashmiri language as well that can bind us. So, I mean, these are some small things wherein social gatherings can take place and active participation from both sides may facilitate in binding us more than any dialogue would. And this is like a very brief idea that I want to put forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahila ji. That was really nice of you. And I agree with you that getting into interactions by way of social functions, cultural events, or sports is really very good idea, especially for the younger generation. Yes. With
Exactly.
with that, I will move over and I would ask. We also have. I'm just seeing if Yasmin is there or she has dropped off. I don't see Yasmin there. I think she has dropped off. So I'll move on to Ashok. Ashok Dullu sir, are you there?
Yes.
Ashok sir, would you want to give us your views?
Hello, namaskar, good evening to all. I am actually based in Baroda, but these days I am in Colombo. So last time I missed joining this group. And as it happens, when you have a lot of speakers who have spoken before you, there will be issues which you have been kind of, snatched from your own, what you have been thinking. Like Sunil told me, it is just a Kath and just sharing of ideas. So it would mean repeating what my other senior people have said here. I would say that what comes out from this, what Rahela said, and which was articulated earlier also, that we have to get down to implementation. And that cannot come through theorizing like we are doing, and we can get into this. And also, one of the main important things is to understand that this group which we are kind of, conflagrating here, it has seen all pluses and minuses of this cultural Kashmiri unity or whatever. Pluses we have seen, minuses we have seen, so we appreciate it. But what we can leave behind is more important than what we can improve upon the past. Rahela says very good things about community. You come down there and physically move, and it will build up. See, our generation, like Mr. Ogra said, desirable and attainable. So both have to be kind of, formulated and then attack the attainables. That is fine. But this thing is that we have been talking in a circle, in an ecosystem where it is all known. Some may have brilliant ideas, some may have radical ideas. It's all known. But what is it that Sanjay Tikku's son, if he is still there and he wants to work, or a daughter wants to work, people who are living there, those are the areas where where this whole Kashmiriyat will get revived. Not from us. I am in Colombo or Baroda, or you guys, most of you are from Delhi or this thing. Kashmiriyat is alive. So far as we are concerned, we can have a cup of tea and discuss goods and bads of Kashmiriyat and goods and bads of our people, our this thing. What is important is the future. And the young generation, they don't know us. I'm surprised you had called the youngsters also, like Rahela, and she has come down to the brass tacks. That come down and have events here, and then people will know. Nobody is going to listen to you and me lecturing there on a platform about Kashmiri. Probably they will come to this session where, you have games, you have this thing. So, or like we go through Kashmir for visiting our asthans. So during that period, we can interact, and then this can get built up. So these are some things which I felt. And when we get down to these virtual things, as it happens, there are more, it becomes more of hiding things, and there are scope of hiding things. But when you are physically when you see the body language, when you see the tone and tenor of your arguments, so there you can kind of be thoda khul ke baat ho sakti hai, khul ke मतलब जो भी है बात कर सकते हैं. और ये जो virtual meetings में, now I have been part of many of such virtual meetings on various forums. what happens is you are at your best behavior most of the time, most of the people. Some people can't hold back, that is different, but most of us are on the best behavior. So the process of getting our hands onto the Kashmiriyat back is a little getting difficult, more and more difficult. So these are some borrowed wisdom shots from the speakers from who have spoken. Maybe next time I have some original things also to talk about. Thank you, Sunil. And thank you, Ban.
Thank you, Dulu Saab. And I'll move over. Saraf Saab, are you there? BL Saraf Saab? I think he is not there, he's away. So I'll just move over.
I am here, sir.
Saraf Saab?
Yes.
Thoughts?
सुन रहे हैं ना मुझे आप?
हाँ? हाँ जी
सुन रहे हैं?
सुन रहे हैं. Anmara, you are audible.
Please, Misha Hukum.
Anmara.
Achha, thank you.
Some of your thoughts.
Is somebody left to listen, or everybody has left?
No, we are here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All of us are here, sir. All of us are here.
Thank you. नहीं कोई बात नहीं. Thank you.
Waiting to listen from you.
अच्छा, मैं 3 बातें कहूँगा. Just पहली बात, एक मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है ये कि इस फोरम से या जो इस ग्रुप कहेंगे आप, इस ग्रुप से एक स्टेटमेंट एक आज इशू होना चाहिए, आज या कल या परसों, जिसमें जो कश्मीर के मुसलमान लोग आजकल हमारे यात्रियों के साथ बिहेवियर करते हैं, दैट शुड बी एप्रिशिएटेड. क्यों? वो नया नहीं कुछ कर रहे हैं. They have been doing it for ages, and I am hopeful they will continue to do for another ages. आज मैं क्यों कह रहा हूँ? Why I stress this point that statement of appreciation must go from this forum for the one reason. जिस बम बम बोले के नारे कश्मीर में गूंज रहे हैं, लोग सुन रहे हैं, आस्था से सुन रहे हैं, चाहे वो किस फेथ के हैं, सुन रहे हैं. सबसे बड़ी बात टॉलरेट कर रहे हैं. ये बड़ी बात है आज के काउंटर में, जबकि यही बम बम बोले का नारा दूसरे हिंदुस्तान कंट्री में बिना कुछ फसाद बन रहा है. It's become a polarizing thing in mainland, and in Kashmir it has become a unifier. So my request is, humble request is that a statement should go. We should appreciate the role Kashmiri Muslims are playing in this yatra. और मैं दोबारा कहूँगा, at the cost of repetition, ये नया नहीं कर रहे हैं वो. They have been doing it and they will continue to do it. This is my firm belief. आज इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आजकल जो सेंट्रल में तनाजुर है, जो हो रहा है वहाँ, इस तनाजुर में ये जरूरी बनता है कि हम कश्मीर मुसलमानों को ड्यू दे दें, उनका अप्रिशिएट करेंगे. एक पहले मेरे एक पॉइंट है. दूसरा, यहाँ बात चली ट्रूथ एंड रिकंसिलिएशन कमीशन की. पिछली बार ये बात हुई थी. ये मैंने उस वक्त भी गुजारिश कर दी कि मैं इस मसले में 2009 से बात कुछ लिख रहा हूँ, कुछ पढ़ रहा हूँ, कुछ काम भी किया है किसी के कहने पर. उसकी वजह थी कि 2009 में उमर अब्दुल्ला हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर थे, उसने असेंबली में स्टेटमेंट दिया कि गवर्नमेंट एक ट्रूथ एंड रिकंसिलिएशन स्टेटमेंट कमीशन बना लेगी. कर बना नहीं, बैन में वो बात चली उस पर. बहुत बातें इसमें बोथ साइड्स हैं. यू सेड यू कैन से मच ऑन बोथ साइड्स. इसके हक में भी कह सकते हैं, इसके खिलाफ भी कह सकते हैं. और ये आज तक ये दिखाया गया है, ये एक्सपीरियंस है कि दैट एक्सेप्ट इन साउथ अफ्रीका ये कहीं चला नहीं. हमारे पड़ोस में था यहाँ श्रीलंका में, जहाँ हमारे एक दोस्त कोलंबो में आजकल बैठ रहे हैं, वहां जो चला था लेसन लर्न कमीशन चला. वहां लेसन्स लर्न कमीशन चला, वो जो तामिल्स और दैट सिन्हेलिस के जगह में, बजाय इसके दैट दे वुड क्रिएट सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम, इट वाज अ प्रॉब्लम क्रिएटर. खैर, आई हैव नो फाइनल से इन दिस, आई हैव माय ओन व्यू. मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है इस जिमन में कि हम सब जो ये लोग हैं या अदर ओपिनियनेड पीपल हैं जो बियॉन्ड दिस ग्रुप है, आप रिक्वेस्ट करिए उनको कि 2-2 पेज का अपना वो पेपर भी दे दें. हार्ड कॉपी 2-2 पेज, 2.5 पेज की. फिर आप बादल साहब से मैं गुजारिश करूंगा, आप कोलेट करिए वो एंड मेक ए स्मॉल बुकलेट. आगे इस पर हम एक्सक्लूसिवली इस पर बात करिए, चाहे वर्चुअल करिए चाहे फिजिकल करिए, मगर करिए एक्सक्लूसिव फॉर दैट एंड इन व्यू ऑफ दैट what you have collated, what you will get from these participants. ये दूसरी बात है. तीसरी बात ये है, यहाँ बात चली कि हमने ये reconciliation बड़ी देखी, मैं कर रहा हूँ, ये संजय को knows it, I have been doing it, I have been doing it since 2009 से बात चल रही है. होता क्या है, जब कहीं बात, ये हमने पंजाब में भी देखा, जब हम कहीं बात पर पहुंचते हैं कहीं, चले वो जमान से क्या छुपनान सुशावान क्या सुजावन शावान, कहीं टेररिस्ट ब्लास्ट होता है, एवरीथिंग कम्स टू जीरो, एवरीथिंग कम्स टू जीरो, और लगता है उस वक्त कि मैं ये क्या फता तो सुबह विजन कर रहा, इट हैज कम टू जीरो। उसमें मेरी एक कहना है, सजेशन, कि जब तक इस टेरर एंगल को भी आप साथ साथ न रखें, और जब इस टेरर एंगल की हम बात करेंगे तो पाकिस्तान लाजमी इसमें बीच में आएगा, हिंदुस्तान भी आएगा, पाकिस्तान भी आएगा। किसी हमारे दोस्त, मोहतरम दोस्त ने कहा था कि वी हैव टू कीप पाकिस्तान एंड इंडिया आउट, दैट इज आइडियल, इफ बट प्रोबेबली कैन वी डू इट विदाउट देम। फिर उसी किसी दोस्त आपने कहा, बड़े मोहतरम दोस्त है, बड़ी अच्छी बात कही कि देयर आर 3 डायमेंशंस टू इट एंड 1 डायमेंशन रिलेट्स टू पाकिस्तान। आप पाकिस्तान को छोड़कर टेरर कश्मीर में खत्म कर नहीं पाएंगे, और जब तक ये टेरर खत्म नहीं होगा, जब तक ये डर खत्म नहीं होगा, हमारी रिकंसिलिएशन की बातें तो ठीक है, but they will all amount to superficial thing. This is my experience of the last 10 years. ये 3 बातें मेरी गुजारिश है। एक स्टेटमेंट जाना चाहिए अप्रिसिएशन का, ट्रूथ एंड रिकंसिलिएशन करने के लिए आप 2-2 पेज 2.5 पेज सबसे ले लीजिए, कोलेट इट। एंड तीसरी बात, जब तक आप इस टेरर को भी एंगल को टैकल नहीं करेंगे, इसका भी कोई रास्ता आप नहीं देखेंगे, जो भी हम यहाँ काम करेंगे, that will come to zero. Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you, Saraf Sahab. Well appreciated. Let's now move forward, and as I had promised, we'll have more young blood. We had Yasmin, but somehow she has dropped off, unfortunately. So I now have Arshid Bashir. Arshid Bashir is an advocate. So Arshid, are you there? Arshid Sahab? Arshid Sahab, you will have to unmute. No, I think Arshid is also sort of he's gone into a situation where he's not able to unmute himself. We are all almost covered. I think Arshid has dropped off. Okay, so fine. I think we are coming towards the end of this session. I have had all speakers. Everybody has put forward their views. Raj Katru Sahab, would you want to add something before?
No, thanks for inviting me, but I think I'm happy listening. Okay. But I appreciate the idea of my previous speaker, Saraf Sahab. We should write it on two page,
right,
and that will crystallize the thinking. One of the points that he mentioned is that Truth and Reconciliation Commission did not work anywhere except in South Africa, which is true. So one has to understand, why did it work in South Africa? Why not somewhere else? And should it be Truth and Reconciliation Commission or only Reconciliation Commission? Because there is a difference between the two. So, but I think it's a good idea to write it down and have a session only on that. Or there was a young girl last time who was talking about healing and so on and so forth. These are topics that can be taken. The discussion is circling around only a single topic. That will crystallize it, and you can get a better feeling of the whole thing. That's all. As I told you last time, I'm only interested in listening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Katru Sahab. So with that, we come towards the end, and I would agree that it is more of reconciliation rather than truth. I think we are at a stage where we should not be doing postmortems anymore. Rather than doing postmortems, we should look at healings. So it's more of a reconciliation than truth. And the idea of putting down things on putting down 2 pages by everybody is a well appreciated idea. I will follow up individually with all of us. As Raf Sahab pointed out, let's try to take down a couple of pages from everybody and try to collate it. And some of thoughts which came out very good.
Sunil, I want a minute.
Well, I'm giving it to you for concluding. Before.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just add one more thing, that all of us need to put in our best. It is each one of us who has tried to put in our little bit. And I think every one of us can contribute a little bit. Thoughts may be different. I may be thinking in a different direction. I may be implementing in a different way. Maybe Baath-2 wants to implement it on a bigger platform. I want to implement on a different level platform, and maybe Rahela wants to implement it on a ground level platform where she interacts on a social level by way of cultural interactions. And as Ogra Sahab pointed out, by way of involving local primary school teachers and all. So it's all, every one of us can try a little bit at different platforms. With that, I would now.
I would just like Sunil.
Yes.
Sunil, just one point.
Yes.
I think it's very important. There are two approaches. One is that you focus on disagreements and try to remove the crevices there. The other approach is eliminate the disagreements and focus and bring in synergy on where there is possibility of greater agreement. Yes. And create that as attraction. That's the point.
Perfect. I fully agree with that. And that's how I have been. I mean, I have a big circle of friends. Even at my workplace, I interact with people from other communities as well. And I think most of the time when my discussion focuses on the niceties of life and niceties. When I talk to them about how we used to do it in our childhood, we talk about the good things. We never talk about the bad things. As long as we ignore the distasteful things, and it's like
you start the process of elimination. Just focus and bring in the synergy of where there is agreement.
Absolutely.
And build on that. Build on that.
Mr. Wattle, can I just pop in only for 1 second?
Yes, sir. Yes, please go ahead.
Right, Mr. Wattle, what actually it is the last my comment is that both the communities, the Pandit community, Kashmiri Pandit community, and the Muslim community, they need to understand only one thing, that they don't need to listen to Muslim community in Kashmir particularly, need not to listen to the Pakistan, what they are saying. And the Hindu community, the Pandit community, they need not to listen to the India, what they are saying. They need to understand only what they want, what they think. Don't follow the lines of the people who are telling them to follow those lines. The simple thing is that follow your instinct, follow your heart, follow your mind. As far as Kashmir is concerned, as far as the Kashmiri Hindu and a Kashmiri Muslim is concerned, don't follow what you are being told for. That's the only thing which I have to say. Thanks very much.
Sir, I agree with you. The approach is that ये मेरा घर है, इसकी सफाई मैं करूँगा. It is my house.
May I add a line? May I add a line to it? Because I thought I was listening to everybody.
Yes, I'm
attentively. I think if you have to rebuild an argument for the future, you would have to understand that there has been 3 generational shifts. It's not we're talking of the present times. As Ogra Sahab said, we have to deconstruct the past, which has not been necessarily a happy thing for anybody. But once we do that, you will have to understand what is the present ecosystem, what are the fault lines, because you cannot have an assumptive constructs. I don't think there are internal dimensions to it, there are external dimensions to it. That's a welcome step. But all the same, using 3 generational shifts, we should go back. Whom are we talking about? Which class, generation of youth, who are the people you are referring to? Because there is a huge outflow of the youth from the valley itself for the better economic, social, career options. So if we are rebuilding on this, I think it's very important to understand how can we deconstruct the assumptions within which we have been working on the past. I think Hindustan, Pakistan, what are our internal dimensions to it? Those assumptive constructs which we don't want. One of the speakers said, well, there seems to be some kind of an, intellectual sanctity to what's being happening around. I think we'll have to deconstruct on that. We have to talk with some kind of a realism. Idealism should take, but realism, Baath is very important. I know which I keep on going very frequently. Yes, there's a popular public opinion which says harmony. But
uncertainty just that everybody's unsafe out there. Atmas gets community response, which is being under focused. Pakistan kya kare, Hindustan kya kare. I think it's very important to know is kya kare. I think what's required now on the present condition is how do the community responses get evolved from the grassroots level, from different sectors. And we can start from one area, one section, but I think it cannot be done unless we develop a very proactive community response to present uncertainties. Just also our brother was talking about targeted Kinshasa. Everybody knows who is what, but there seems to be some kind of a silence. That silence has to be broken. If we are looking to a long-term argument, we should come back to this. We can't be a mute spectator, whatever will be the compulsion, whatever with the reasons. I think it's very important how we build up the local responses from the local institutions. That would be very critical to move forward on this. Thank you, Namaskar.
Right. Thank you, sir. So, Ban Sahab, I would want you to give the concluding remarks.
I am so delighted that we are enriched with the thoughts of most of the eminent people cutting across the age groups around. And the common feature in all the interventions was that there is a scope to work on certain issues which can revive the age-old bondage, which can revive the age-old ethos, which lay shattered, which lay devastated by militancy for last 3 decades. And this disaster and death and destruction phenomenon has to end. For ending that phenomenon, to combat terrorism, there is an ecosystem of security system. We cannot do anything on that. Whether they pursue the hot pursuit, soft pursuit is their strategic and operational metrics which they determine from time to time. But so far as the social and individual interactions between the two communities which are at sufferance, Muslims have suffered, Pandits are suffering, both the components of Kashmir civilization, which is Muslim and Kashmir, are at great colossal sufferance. So how to mitigate that sufferance in the present day atmospherics is the moot question. Some people attribute it that youth has lost faith in democracy and idea of India for the reason that politicians of all the hues so far for 3 decades and before have been double speaking, and they have not shown the path of progression. They have shown the path of despair, frustration, and regression in Kashmir context. And Sanjay, who is there for the last 32 years, I know how, under what difficult circumstances he is. He still has an optimism, and he appeals to us, he urges us, the concerned citizens and the concerned Kashmiris, both Muslims and Kashmir Pandits, that to save the Kashmir from the current morass, which he described in his own way. We have agreement on certain issues, we have disagreement on certain issues. But what most of the speakers from Kashmir said, that there is a new menace which has entered the Kashmir society, that is the drug menace. You know, after every terrorist warfare, the drug menace entered in Punjab in a big way. It is still persistent there. The drug menace is a consequence of the terrorism sponsored by Pakistan in our neighborhood. So this menace, we have to fight jointly. And Pandits and Muslims, both communities have to fight if we have to save youth of Kashmir. And by saying that saving youth of Kashmir means saving the common ethnicity of Kashmir, the common ethos of Kashmir, the common heritage of Kashmir. So many people said that it has three dimensions. Everybody is conscious that we have three dimensions, but the fact remains that the elephant in the room, which is Pakistan, was stronger sometime before, but he has lost his strength. Elephant has lost his teeth. Elephant has lost his weight in Kashmir. And today, the Pakistan is out of the reckoning of the minds of societal mind of Jammu and Kashmir as an option. So therefore, we have a very pragmatic situation politically. I don't want to dabble into that because recently one of the top political leaders said that they must appeal to the mullahs and Maulvis to sermonize from mosques that youth should abandon gun culture and they must request Kashmiri Pandits to come back. So as I earlier said that there is a political support also. What Professor Irshad was saying, I think I am viewing all the facts on the ground. The political class, the mainstream political class of the Kashmir Valley is on our side. Whether it is their vested interest or political interest, I don't mind that. As long as they make pronounced statements like this, what Mahbooba Mufti did recently, and what PAGD did when Kashmiri Pandit Rahul Bhatt was killed and Pandits were agitating on the ground. What they did, they went to governor and asked him to look into the issues and said that for any other exodus, we are with you, please stop it. So therefore, there is a political mainstream which is for such initiatives, which is for the intra-community, but they have their own political, I don't mind that. But what Rahila said was also an eye-opener for us. She gave us a prescription which said that we must organize more and more cultural events, sports events, and women interaction. And Kashmiri women are very keen to interact with their Kashmiri Pandit women. Whether we can do it as an NGO, I am afraid that we have to approach the other NGOs working on such fields to encourage them to do this. And I'll request Rahila that if she has some particular suggestions, she can put it to us. And we'll forward it definitely to those NGOs. There are various NGOs working in this direction. And what Judge Saraf said, that in today's context, we must express some gratitude to the warmth shown by Kashmiri Muslims towards the Yatris. And he said repeatedly that it's not new. I only saw yesterday Farooq Abdullah's statement. He said that who identified this Shiv Linga there? It was a Muslim and he went to the Pandits of Mutton to tell them that I have seen something spectacular and please go there and see what exactly it is. That is how it was discovered. So therefore, on that Yatra issue, we'll certainly say a line in our statement if we make a press release with permission of all of you. Number 3, which is very important, what Javed Saab from London said, that we need to involve the diaspora also. Kashmiri diaspora, both Pandit and Muslim, has also a bigger say in most of the countries. And we must gradually involve them at least for one doable thing. That is to engage ourselves. The two communities must engage uninterruptedly and go on engaging themselves with each other till the time that we find a commonality of the ground of a mutual reconciliation. That reconciliation will not come through reconciliation and truth commission. That will come by our physical, by our virtual, by our hybrid interactions. And I think it's not discouraging to keep on holding both the physical interactions and also hybrid interactions, because we come to know each other. We do catharsis, we express ourselves, and each one of us have a story to tell. Let us listen, have patience to listen, because no solution will come in the third meeting. It might take a lot of time, but I am still hopeful that 30 years of our gap is not too big a gap which cannot be bridged. And Kashmir continues to hold a unique position in the context of India, and the youth of Kashmir, which has from time to time shown its commitment to the democracy. In 2014, I remember they largely participated in the elections, but got disillusioned because of the local leadership. Democracy and idea of India in Kashmir is a new reality now. So we need to educate the people of Kashmir that India is also a big land of opportunities, and Kashmiri youth in lakhs and lakhs have been moving from 90 onwards towards the other parts of India. They are our compatriots, they are our patriots, they are our ambassadors, and they go back and start a level of discussion which is different than what the other narrative is there. That narrative has to be defeated. The radicalization has to be defeated. The intellectual class, if we come together, is the bulwark against radicalization. University is the bulwark against radicalization. Colleges are bulwarks against radicalization. The more and more we interact in such institutions and involve institutions like this into our interactions, there is a despondency, there is a despair, there is an uncertainty, and there is a fear also. That fear, uncertainty, despair will evaporate when the two communities of the valley come together and unitedly think of reviving the age-old ethos, because 5,000 years of our heritage and past will not allow any other alien narrative to take over our social, religious, and political ethos. I am an incorrigible optimist on that, because I believe that the strength of Kashmir not only lies in the people of Kashmir, but it lies in its age-old tradition, the ethos, the heritage. At Kashir Pat wana Kashur pat board. Tis history chan Hindustanas mast. Yisa Kashir mas. So Kashir hinz rawadari, Kashir hund baichara, Kashir hund yus devastate of infrastructure karun at revive karnas mast. जो सोन योगदान सोन कंट्रीब्यूशन सठा जरूरी और तेली हको ये अश पकनायत ब्रोह ये अश पॉजिटिव अप्रोच है पकाओ अश ते बनावन एम्बेसडर्स ऑफ despair, desperation and uncertainty. अश गश पॉजिटिव थॉट प्रोसेस आस गवर्नमेंट करिन पनी काम तिमन क्या करें आर्मी करिन पनी काम क्या करें मगर ये society karun chu, ये kashris Musalmanas to batas ikvat relit karun chu, to build up a new environment in Kashmir, such as karun such son dayatu, such son farz. और आत्मज छ जावेद बेगन कर के निशानदेही केंतन इशूजन हन तमिस वनुक अंदाज क्या ओस क्या न ओस दैट्स डिफरेंट मगर इशूज छ तिम इम्पोर्टेंट तिम इशूज ते पेन अस कुन विज टेक अप कर जावेद ते पे अस पानस सत पकनाउन सत पे अस चिजल कर सो दैट वी कैन रीच आउट टू मैक्सिमम मगर मे खुशी ये कि अजुक युस ये वेबिनार वेल रिप्रेजेंटेड और यथ मज डाइवर्स ओपिनियन ये करो फर्दर एनलार्ज वसो करो डिसेंट्रलाइज गो वर्मुल वर्मुल जावेद ककरू साहब प्रोफेसर इरशाद साहब युस हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट पॉलिटिकल साइंस कश्मीर यूनिवर्सिटी तिम दोनवे तटकी सह सोपोर साइड और जावेद साहब ककरू वर्मुल मगर अस प्रिविलेज कि सह लंडनस मज बेस थवित तत काम करान कशीर मतलब जान काम करान सो इसलिए वी हैव गुड पीपल अराउंड विद अस थिंकिंग पीपल and it is the thoughts which move the world, yeah, ideas which move the world. If we present ourselves with positive thought process, I am certain and I am optimist कि और vibes थी in Kashmir पे थी in ऐसी positive thoughts. Thank you very much for participation, and we will jot down all the suggestions which came up, and we will ask some people to write down on reconciliation and truth. Magar yim baaki allied factors that you cover wuchan, let us focus single-handedly on the coexistence, mutual trust, confidence, and also revival of our old heritage. Thank you very much. Good night.
Okay, thank you, Bhan Sahab. With that, we come to the end of this session today, and I would like to thank each one of you for your time, for your valuable time and your inputs. So I'm ending the session now. Thank you once again. Good night.
Thank you.